I'm Kevin.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Kerr.
I'm Jen.
And we are
The
Broadleaf Bullies.
We talk. You listen. We are the Broadleaf Bullies. And here's your hosts, Kev, Kerr, Jessie, and Jen.
You know what's exciting? This is season 1, episode 1. The teaser trailers are done. The whole gang is all here. Little, promos done. We're on to the real deal, Holyfield.
Yeah.
We are the Broadleaf Bullies, episode 1. This is history in the making.
It is. It
is.
So Kev, you have this brilliant freaking build-up for the first episode, which literally can either bring us all together closely or we will never make episode 2.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so we're either going to look back when we're doing episode 100 and we'll be rich and famous, or we'll no longer be friends and be like, hey, remember when we used to know Kerr and Jen, before you had to say something, Kevin, on that episode, So yes, I figure with episode number 1, everybody should just get to know us as individuals, us as couples, and us as a 4-person team, aka the Broadleaf Bullies.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah,
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, in 3 months, I don't want to be like doing a podcast with Kevin in our 1-bedroom apartment. And Jess and Jennifer are like,
we'll be living like
another person writing vague, ambiguous shit on Facebook about me, having them two do it while Kevin and I are like doing. We're doing a show from our galley kitchen.
That's it.
Why Jen and I live like queens.
Yeah, from Duncan's spare bedroom. Yeah, no.
Exactly, Duncan's spare bedroom.
He'll be doing his show, and I'll peek in. Hey, the meatloaf's ready.
I was gonna say, at least we know we get some good food, right?
Yeah,
what are you saying? I love to cook.
I wouldn't be with you anymore.
Yeah,
I was having a Duncan. We've established that.
Jen looks like she can make a good meal. So
yeah.
Oh my God, you missed what I made tonight.
Yeah, I saw what you
prime
made
rib was
online.
on point. Freaking crazy.
Oh my God.
We had frozen Chinese food that I whipped up.
Yeah. That food you made tonight was incredible. And you know what?
It was.
I will do a plug only because it's good. And Lars Teague's freaking.
I know you guys keep talking about that.
Are awesome. And I have it on our website now for sale.
Oh,
and I've had 3 people reach out. I got my family wanting to buy it already.
Yeah, we're gonna have to buy
it.
It
is freaking phenomenal stuff.
Oh yeah, I give it 2 thumbs up. I would not say to buy it unless it was good.
Buy.
Yes, we're gonna buy some spices.
I'm famous.
No, you're not.
I don't buy a lot of stuff.
We're buying some.
So.
It's okay.
when semi-famous people and famous people exchange gifts, do they buy or I'm not as famous. I admit that. I've been around longer.
I'm a no one. So.
Well, actually, I can't even say I've been around longer because you were knitting looms when I was still doing reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why don't we start off with well, Jen, what are you drinking? You don't smoke.
I don't smoke. I do enjoy being around cigars, the smell of it. My grandfather was a big cigar smoker, so it brings a lot of memories with it. And I like the history of it, but no, I don't smoke. I'm a coffee drinker. So Kerr is a barista as well, and he made me my mug of latte because I don't like just a shot. And he did some cool foam art.
I do foam art. I did 2 testicles being ripped off.
Gone since I drank most of it.
It didn't look
so. I thought it looked great.
It did. It was awesome.
I just do some foam art, and I'm like, here it is, honey. This is Pac-Man.
It's like looking up at the clouds. You make what you want out of it.
That's cool.
So, yeah, just having a nice latte with about 4 shots in it.
4 shots of espresso.
My evening drink.
So when it kicks in, I'm
just
going to sit here and
sleep.
just drink my beer and shut up.
So what are you drinking and smoking, Kerr?
I'm drinking. Jen got me this IPA because I do like IPAs.
Ooh.
It's Founders All Day IPA. It's really good. It's a sessions ale is what they call it, but it's I guess I don't even know if it's local. What? Very inexpensive, Michigan, but it's really good. So I always like finding those those little pearls where it's like, man, this beer is inexpensive but tastes great. I am smoking a gift that you sent me, the Series HN from Room 101. This is the one that you and I were talking about when you told me that you bought all these at that shop. I had a laugh because I did something very similar a few years back at Tobacco Plus when Duncan was like, "They're not making they don't make these anymore." I was like, because they were so damn good, and I bought the rest of them. So I figured I'd smoke a little gift. Thank you.
Yeah, that was, you're quite welcome. Jessica, what are you smoking and drinking?
I'm just smoking a Sweet Jane because I didn't know what I wanted, and that just seemed like a good choice to go with my wild berry wine, and you just blew that all up in my face. And it's from a company here local in Florida. It's called Keel and Curly Winery, and it's outside of like Tampa, and I've been really drinking a lot of their wine.
Let's not promote them too much. They're not paying for anything.
Well, it doesn't matter. That's okay. I'll promote them if I want to.
Edit.
Run out. I'm just going to drink some Sprite.
And I am having a Hoya de Nicaragua Cinco de Caras, distributed by the fine folks at Drew Estate Cigars. And I am
don't do a plug, Kevin.
Don't use this show to further your other endorsements.
Your Acid Wash Studio.
Yeah, and then I am of course drinking Bacardi and Diet Coke out of an Ohio State tumbler.
So rum and cola.
No,
rum and Diet.
Yeah,
cola.
No, it's Bacardi and Diet. It's not rum and cola.
Okay,
Bacardi and Diet.
Bacardi and Diet, because he doesn't want to ever drink anything different.
Yeah. So.
Hey, listen. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
It's broke.
Yeah, I can drink an ass ton of that and not get hammered. Like I can literally drink probably.
That's part of the problem. You need to get hammered. You need to let loose and like not be such a uptight person. You need to learn how to have fun. Like road trips with him. There's no radio. There's no talking. There's no like junk food. It is like a dedicated schedule. We got to get here. Like,
we gotta.
It's horrible.
We gotta beat the GPS when we get in to the car and the GPS says go.
So it's a race against the GPS.
You race. So you're.
Do you at least have a voice going? So at least someone's telling you to make turns, and can you edit the voice so at least it's like
it's through OnStar. It all comes through the air. So
up ahead, make a right. There's clear and present danger.
So the GPS says your drive is 17 hours,
to now justify
and you're going to get there at 6:30. You cannot get there afterwards.
So your goal
is to beat the GPS.
Kevin's not allowed to drive when we take our RV road trip.
Yeah.
No, he can. He is.
We're going to lock him in the bathroom.
Yeah.
He is the most unfun person to take a road trip. Poor my oldest son Graham. Before he went into the army, he took one last family trip with us. We went all the way to New Jersey, and we were hanging out with my friend Dustin. And Graham was like, "Oh my God, that was like the longest road trip drive ever." He didn't even come back with us. He flew back on a plane. He was like,
I like to listen to educational stuff when we're traveling.
No, it's not even that.
Oh my God, we're getting our own RV.
The radio is on the lowest setting. You can't even hear it. You're like, wait, what? What are they saying? Oh, okay. Or like, what's that music? Oh, I don't even know because I can't hear it because old man Kevin is driving down the road.
I gotta admit, I did a lot of traveling over the last several years with work, and it's different when you're with me because I have no choice, but I don't listen to music when I drive. I don't. I either will talk to someone or I'll listen to podcasts or I'll listen to talk radio when I'm driving. I love music, but I do not listen to music.
It depends on my mood. With work, depending on what's going on, my mood, coming home, it depends on what music plays. Yeah, sometimes quiet is nice. It helps you mellow out. But trust me, Metallica goes on, and I have, my playlist, and the freaking helicopters are,
but you're a music person, though. When you cook, like when she cooks, she'll put on her iPad, and she'll go through her little same freaking block of music, the soundtrack from what movie is that?
Rent.
No, no, not that one. That was terrible. The other one.
Across the Universe.
Across the Universe.
So it's all the Beatles.
All Beatles songs sung by somebody else or the actors, which is really good.
It's excellent.
And then I got to sit there while she's cooking, great smelling stuff, and freaking hear, Ewan McGregor saying, "Get up, get out of bed, drag a comb across my head." So she has her music thing.
That's funny. I listen to Otis Redding.
I use iHeartRadio.
You do, and we are on iHeartRadio now. We did get the official approval.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So I listen like Joe Rogan. I'll listen to different things like that when I'm on there.
Kevin listens to Britney Spears.
I like Britney.
Did you watch the documentary?
I did not.
No.
I can sing the lyrics to every Spice Girls song ever made.
Yeah. Who's your favorite Spice Girl?
Baby Spice.
Because of her pigtails?
That is so not me at all.
At the beginning, I think towards the end, I was maybe leaning towards a little bit more Posh Spice, but she became a bitch after that. So I don't know. But she's dating or married to David Beckham, so she's got that going for her. It's I don't know.
She has a great clothing line.
She does the step machine in high heels.
Oh yeah.
When she exercises, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Great.
So we're supposed to be getting
more boring shit.
so we need to let's
basically, Jess, when we do the RV, me and you will be in the back drinking, having fun. We'll leave the guys up front.
Yeah.
We'll smoke cigars. We'll talk about stuff and listen to Britney Spears.
I grew up like road tripping. Like I also was fortunate to have a lot of aunts and uncles that were not like super old, and we would go camping and do all kinds of fun stuff. And one thing I remember is always music, laughing, fun, junk food in the car, just wherever you stop at every stupid thing because you can, like you spend every moment making that memory.
Like the Griswolds, we're going to see the world's biggest ball of yarn.
Listen,
absolutely. I still want to stop at all those cheesy places.
I've been fighting Kevin for the last 5 years to stop being the magic stealer. I go, you are the ruiner of magic. You kill dreams before they even happen. Like,
dream killer.
He is a dream killer. So I don't know what
opposite
happened.
of a dream catcher.
I had been rubbing off on him finally, and we finally stopped at Dinosaur World. That was like the coolest thing ever. You can't tell me it was not cool.
We had fun.
It was so much fun. It even rained. We were drenched, but it was so much fun, and we would have missed that.
So Jess, I guess I'm in the same wheelhouse. When I'm driving, I don't like to stop. Like I get to the point where I'll piss in a bottle before I stop, so I can make my time.
You gotta love when you find a Gatorade bottle with pee in it underneath the seat because it rolled under there like weeks later.
Plus we all have that driving.
Save that for my urinalysis.
Yeah, we got that driving buddy on the highway, the guy we've been with for like 40 miles, and you don't want to get off. You lose your driving buddy. The guy that had his cruise control set at the right speed. You guys were behind each other. It's hard to find a driving buddy.
Going back and forth, pass each other, give the smile.
Yeah.
So this is why I'd rather fly everywhere than ever drive.
Yes. Thank you, Jessica.
Drive with Kevin.
Yes.
Yeah.
She would rather drive somewhere or fly somewhere than drive.
No, I love driving.
I love flying.
Oh, driving's the only way.
Yeah.
I'd hop on a plane in a heartbeat. So Jessica and I will fly to our destination, and we'll just meet you when you guys get there.
That's what Sokka does. Steve Sokka drives everywhere, and then his wife flies into the
I don't blame
events,
her. Smart, because he probably listens to podcasts and shit too. The whole time in the car.
So if we haven't hooked you in yet,
yes, to listen to our podcast.
So Jessica, you started.
While you're driving.
You started off with your childhood. Why don't you start it off? Where are you from? Where were you born? Where were you raised?
I was born in Plainfield, New Jersey, at Muhlenberg Hospital. Actually, my grandmother was in the room. My grandmother was a nurse at Muhlenberg Hospital, and she helped deliver all of her grandbabies. So, and then I grew up in Edison, New Jersey, on New Dover Road. We had a farm called Schaefer and Sons. My grandfather and my dad and his brothers ran a landscaping company, commercial and residential. And, we didn't go like home and played like normal kids. We had to go work in a greenhouse or on the farm. So that's how I grew up.
And what is one interesting fact that nobody knows?
I had plastic surgery on my eye, on my left eye. My whole eyelid got ripped off. And
yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
I had to have plastic surgery.
Well, someone knows about that then, Kevin.
At three, yeah. You knew that?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you knew that.
I know everything about you.
No, you don't.
I do.
But I was 3 years old, and being a kid, I don't know what, I fell and it ripped my eyelid off, and I had to have stitches and complete plastic surgery on my eye because I was a girl, so they figured they would do plastic surgery, which is the only time I'll ever have plastic surgery is at 3 years old. I'll never do it as an adult. Yeah, on my eye. It was completely ripped off practically. It was just hanging there. My eyelids. Yeah. Great. So, that was a fun story.
Yeah. So, hold on. Ladies, next, is there anything else, Jess, that we would find interesting or different outside of your eyelid being ripped off and being cosmetically put back on? And
I don't know. I mean, there's probably a lot of stuff people don't know about me. Same as Jen, like we don't really, people don't really know us. They know
no one
a lot
knows
about
me at all.
Kevin and Kerr. God, I had horses. I did fast pitch softball. I did a Star Maker camp where they train you for the Olympics for softball. I went and did that for like 5 years.
Oh, I'm glad you clarified. I thought Star Maker camp was like, one of those like pageant things.
Yeah. It's actually in Pennsylvania.
Actually, living with me, I have been putting her through Star Maker camp for a couple of years, like, and she is failing out of Star Maker camp. Cigar Pop Star Maker camp.
Star Search.
Yeah. I was really.
Kevin's going to be taking interns on.
Yeah,
I was really into sports growing up, and so I don't know. Other than that, I don't really have anything else to add. Because then it would be going into things that nobody probably should know about.
Right. Yeah, we don't want to cross that line. So,
I mean, I'm sure people want to know, maybe, possibly some people out there, but there's something.
We got other shows for that shit.
Just left to be a secret.
So, ladies, next, Jennifer. Where are you from, and what's something about you?
I'll kind of follow Jess's lead. I was born in Claremont Hospital in Belleville, New Jersey. So we have 2 Jersey girls on the show. I was raised in Clifton, New Jersey, like one town over, until I went to college in Boston. Stayed in Massachusetts for quite a while and moved back to New Jersey. I work in nuclear medicine, so I work with radioactivity day in and day out, which is pretty neat, and have been down here for 11 years. So...
What's an interesting fact that
down here is where?
Down here, yes. Sorry, that's like a Duncan saying from his show the other day. Down here, Greenville, South Carolina. My dad and stepmom retired down here about 25 years ago. So they used to stop halfway from Florida to New Jersey and absolutely fell in love with the area. So I've been down here 11 years now, which is hard to believe.
Nice.
And since I've never really been on camera or radio, or no one knows anything about me, so it's kind of hard to say a little known fact.
Well, you could just even do it amongst your group here, but it'd not be something I don't know about.
You know everything about me. Let's see. I don't know. I really don't know what that could be. I already said I work in nuclear medicine. That's
well, it's something you're drinking.
For coffee?
Yeah. What about what do you collect?
Oh, yes. Thank you,
Wow.
Jess. I needed a little.
Thanks for leading her.
I am a coffee snob. How you guys think of cigars and your palate and do farm to whatever it is in the cigar lingo, I really dive into the whole coffee industry. I am a diehard Starbucks drinker. I don't care what anyone says about them. They have the best espresso beans, hands down. I collect Starbucks everything. Mugs. I have vintage. I have figurines. Our previous home, our kitchen was literally just an homage to Starbucks.
And we have a tree.
I have a tree, yes, thank you. My Starbucks tree, which is up year-round, with ornaments that I've collected over the years. That we actually started in our previous house on this little, like, rosemary tree. So they're only, what, maybe 2 feet tall, couple ornaments on there. Now I have a 7-foot tall tree in our dining room that has ornaments aplenty and then some.
Every time she buys something, she's like, "Oh my gosh, I looked on eBay. This is already doubled in cost." I go, "Let's sell it." No, I'm like, "Well, then why are we getting it?"
Yeah.
And then how many dozens of cats do you have, Jennifer?
I have one, but I would gladly get rid of her, so I'm okay with not having a cat.
Yeah.
We have Cooper, the Stogie Road Retriever, so
Yeah,
he's my baby.
we have a cat that's fat enough for 2.
Yeah, and a pain in the ass. So
So yes, the Starbucks. So
the
Kevin,
Starbucks.
Nobody knows anything about you. So why don't we learn a little bit more about you, since
Well,
you're a little bit more shy? I'm going to milk this out of you.
I was born in Ohio, Ohio. So I am a Buckeye through and through. I came down here to Florida when I was 2. I brought the whole family down. The winters weren't for me. I decided this shit's enough. Packed up the family after a meeting and like, we're heading down south. So I've been down here ever since.
Where's here?
Here is in Florida. We are on the sunny Gulf Coast of Florida in a little town called Northport. We're about 1 hour south of Tampa, about 45 minutes.
Like he sounds like a newscaster.
So we're a little north of Fort Myers. We're right on the Gulf Coast, so we're on the west coast.
I guess
of
I should have said like all of like how I ended up in Florida. I just skipped over the fact that I lived in like 4 other places before.
We'll just like
you had your shot. You had your shot. I'm sorry.
I had my chance.
Just like Biden's press secretary, we're going to circle back. We're going to
circle back.
Gonna circle back. So I've been down here. I'm an automotive mechanic. I've been a chef. I've done high-end
You
security.
knit?
She's getting intro jealousy right now. Intro envy.
Say anything.
Kevin has his whole CV out for the world to hear.
I was horrible. I was good at security, but I was horrible because like things would happen and they'd be like, "Hey, Kevin, when you like did this, did you?" I'm like, "I didn't notice anything." Well, the door was kicked in. I didn't notice that at all. Well, it was shortly after when the security camera walked by, that door was. I'm like, I don't remember that at all. Yeah, it wasn't me. So I left the security world. It was boring, anyways. So I'm an automotive mechanic, and that's it. Things people don't know about me.
What doesn't Jess know about you?
Don't go there.
I don't know.
Yeah, go there.
Go there. And I'm wicked smart. Like like some people don't. I'm a.
It's like he's trying to convince.
Yeah, I'm a.
Are you humble too? Are you humble? People don't know how humble you are.
He's so modest, Jessica.
Yeah, I'm a speed reader. I can read. I think at last count like 700 words a minute.
But do you retain it?
I retain all of it. I can type like 80 words a minute. I'm a good typist.
People can read fast but not retain.
I don't know.
Yeah, and then,
he can retain. I do.
Yeah, and then something that Jessica may not know about me. I cry every day.
What do you mean? I do know that about you.
7 days a week.
I know that about him.
I am in tears, and it's the dumbest thing. It could be like an old episode of Ren and Stimpy.
I could be dying.
And then I'll be watching it, and I'll be like, "Oh my god, I remember that," and I'll just start crying.
I could probably be dying, and he wouldn't cry.
Yeah.
He'll cry during a commercial or some shit.
Yeah.
And I look over at him, and I'm like, "What the hell is happening?" But I could be bleeding to death, and be like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
Or you might not even notice.
Yeah, I might not notice, but so you gotta,
because he's too busy looking at the Instagram.
Well, if you're hurt, you gotta have on your phone like really sad music. Like Kevin, I'm hurt, but then just play that music. I'm like, what is going on over here?
Yeah,
So, but
yeah, I know you cry all the time.
Yeah, I was yeah. But
I would have never known that about you.
And I don't cry. And I don't cry
He's
enough.
quite
At least
sensitive.
I don't cry in front of people. And if you see me cry, you should run.
Yeah.
Run as fast as you can, because I was raised in a household where you don't cry. You don't cry in front of people.
So if you're crying in front of people, it's because you're angry, most likely?
Obviously, if I'm crying, like...
Or seriously injured?
Or injured, but it's just, I'll probably get I would just say run.
Yeah.
If you see me crying in front of you, I would be afraid.
Gotcha.
So I got something that Jessica may not know. Growing up in school, I never took PE, ever.
What?
Not one
What?
year. Ever since, like, as far as I can remember, like, since, like, the maybe 4th or 5th grade, I was the librarian's assistant.
How did you pull that off? Because you're high?
Yeah, a lot of people don't
I'm a
know.
librarian because my mom was a librarian.
Yeah, I was librarian's assistant.
No, because he had.
So I'm blind in my right eye. So I have a benign tumor on my optic nerve, and I also have a scratch at the back of my eye. They're thinking from like an infection when I was in the womb. So I'm legally blind. I have some peripheral, and then like right up close, like right here. So back then, you know, we're talking late 80s, early 90s. They didn't know like in sports, like a blow to the head would cause something. So I never did PE. I never played sports.
You know,
so
that explains a lot.
So I was librarian's assistant, and I loved it. The Dewey Decimal System, that was my jam right there.
That just
These days would have no clue what that is.
Yeah.
Hard catalog flicking through.
The Dewey Decimal System.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that explains a lot of like you not knowing certain things or living like regular teenage kids.
You know, every time Jessica finds out a new fact about me, like my parents will say something or an old friend or something will say something, Jessica will look at me and she goes, that explains so much. You know, like I hear that like once a week.
It does.
That explains a lot.
It does explain a lot.
So.
Well, how long have you guys been together?
5 years.
5 years.
Wow.
But we'll get to that next.
Okay,
Kerr,
sorry.
you're up.
That's all right. She was always misses and skips me over. I'm used to it. It's one thing that you guys don't know about me. Let's see. I was born and raised in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. My dad's side of the family, everybody was either named Tony, Anthony. It was either Anthony, Edward, or Michael. They came up with Carrie. I have no idea how. And then my dad told me it was the name of the doctor who delivered me. It was Dr. Carey. So that's how I got my name. I was almost Andrew, which thank God is Carrie.
Andy.
No offense to people named Andrew. It's cancel culture. I don't want to get upset. Second person in my family. Our whole family go to college. My brother was the first. Lebanon's the biggest county in Pennsylvania, but it's a very small town. Lived in Delaware, went to school in Delaware, lived in outside of Philly, lived in Harrisburg. I lived in Pittsburgh for 5 years. I mean, just all over Pennsylvania. Then I moved down here to Greenville, South Carolina. I've been down here, what's it been, 10 years?
About 10 years.
About 10 years I've been down here. I mean, like I said, I lived all over Pennsylvania. I moved down here, and we'll get to it later, but I lived like less than a mile from Jennifer when I moved down here.
About a half mile.
Yeah,
Never knew.
half mile. Yeah. So, what is one thing about me that people don't know? When I was in grade school, our grade school closed down. It was a small Catholic school. We moved to a bigger Catholic school, and I started getting really, really sick, and I got held back in 7th grade because I missed too much school, and I had to repeat 7th grade. And thank God I did, because I think at that time my maturity level, you know, my birthday's in September, so I was like the youngest one in my class at one point. Then I went back to, you know, I went to being the oldest one, went through high school, and I played some sports, basketball stuff growing up, but I didn't play football until I was a freshman in high school ever. But then I went to college and played football in college and had fun there as well. So, my guidance counselor, when I was a senior in high school, told me my grades aren't good enough to go to college, and I'm not good enough in football to play college football. So I should go to a tech school and a 2-year school that has football, so I can learn a trade and play some football, because it's just a step up from high school. Well, I went to a school and graduated from college and did pretty well in football, so he was wrong. And then later on, during one of those Facebook battles from several years ago, he tried to take credit for helping me get into college. I was like, dude, you're the one who told me to go to Stevens Tech. You're way off. So,
Yeah.
you know, and that's, I I thoroughly enjoyed going to a smaller school, and you know, really enjoyed it, and still have great friends who I went to college with and played football with, and you know, that's me in a nutshell. That's not too overly complicated. I work in the medical field too. I've been doing the medical field over 20 years. Now I work in clinical trials.
So did any of your football, like either in college or high school, did anybody make it to the NFL that you know of that?
That's a good question. Some guys who were younger than me, you know, they played at bigger schools. I played at Division III school, but we do have a guy who went to my college who plays for the Atlanta Falcons, and we did have a guy who I went to college with who played quarterback for the Packers. Was on our practice squad for a couple of years. Really outstanding football players. I mean, we lost my head football coach, who was my defensive coordinator when I got there a couple of years ago. One of the best human beings I've ever met, and he really built that program to where it was like the real deal. Like, it was Division III, but they had guys who played in the USFL, NFL Europe. Like I said, we got a guy playing on the line in Atlanta right now from my college. So my buddy and I were supposed to play professional football in Switzerland, when we graduated. But he was dating a girl at the time who ended up marrying her. Still with her, and I was dating a girl, and we couldn't take them with us, so we said no. You know, yeah, I know, right? Like, my roommate at the time was like, his family's from Sweden. He's like, dude, they love American athletes. You're gonna love it over there. And my girlfriend's like, I can't come with. I was like, okay, I'll stay, Ronnie. But I played with a guy who had tryouts with the NFL, who played at University of Maryland. So you know, I got to play with some great athletes and play against some guys who are fantastic athletes and who've had some time in professional level and stuff. And
you are in their Hall of Fame.
Huh?
Your College Hall of Fame.
Yeah, College Hall of Fame.
Yay.
Yep. Yeah, that was a lot of donations to get that one.
And there's an award with your name on it.
There's an award with my
given
name
out
on
every
it.
year.
Every year, yes. Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I did my time there, and you know, we won our first championship down there. I did, you know, it was late '80s, early '90s when I went there, and we turned the program around. My freshman year turned the whole program around, and I got, like I said, I played with guys who were just great people, but phenomenal football players, but just great people who I'm still friends with today.
That's awesome.
So
I guess I feel like I should amend my
Jessica wants to redo
or just elaborate.
Well,
yeah.
I guess I should say when I left New Jersey, what happened. Well, after I graduated high school, I was supposed to go to Germany on a scholarship for graphic design, and I did not do that. I decided to move to New York because I thought I was cool, and I was gonna like be an artist in New York, and ended up getting pregnant and having my oldest son. So then kind of changed all my plans. So then I ended up moving to Florida all by myself with a 1-year-old. Went to college, put myself through school, got a art degree, and I worked for a development company and construction company for a few years doing marketing for them. And then I fell into some other stuff like throughout the time I lived in Florida. And then I moved to North Carolina. And then I became a person who worked with special needs adults for a really long time. And I got a couple certificates doing that. And then when I moved back from North Carolina, I started working for Goodwill and have been with them for almost 10 years. So.
That's something we have common. That was my first job out of college. When I graduated college, I had a political science degree and I wanted to get into the state police. They had a hiring freeze. I wanted to get some government work. They were in a hiring freeze. So my sister, my mother worked for New Directions for Progress, and I worked in a home taking care of mentally challenged adults and helping them, you know, get ready. They went to work today, you know, throughout the day, pick them up, help integrate them into society and all that. And I did that for about 4 months. Making $357 a week part-time until I got my job. That's not a lot of money. No. When you got bills to pay.
Yeah, I'll tell you, people don't realize, like, I started off with like kind of working with kids, and then I did teenagers, and then I went to adults, and then even some that were in nursing homes. I don't think people realize, like, because they're not like a product. You just can't put them on a shelf and be like, I'll get back to it later. You know, it's legit stuff you have to do. You're teaching them all kinds of skills, even if it's personal hygiene to their work to everything. It's grueling. It is.
Living in a home, like trying to like go, okay, it's TV time. And you got Mary Ann going, I want Murphy Brown on. And the other one's like throwing shit at her going, oh, we watched that last. So
I know it can be intense, and it's not for everyone. I always tell people, like, you quickly learn what you're willing to accept and what you're not, what you're good at, what you're not. It teaches you a lot of patience and a lot of stuff that you never thought you could do in life.
Patience and humility, definitely.
Yes,
and appreciation for things that we take for granted. Yeah. But then appreciation, you know, for, you know, the struggles that they face and, you know, how they strive and work so hard, you know, to do some of the simplest of tasks.
I know we take for granted.
Yeah.
It's definitely probably one of the most humbling things to be a part of. You know, obviously it's not for everyone, and I'm not judging anyone who hasn't, like, and also some people are just not ever been in situations where they've been around people who have a disability or have some kind of handicap, you know, and I understand that. And that's one of the things that I did after I had my 2 youngest children. I became an all-parent advocate of Western North Carolina. And I used to go and speak to schools and in front of Medicaid and doctors and all kinds of stuff, because you got to put a face that these people aren't just on a piece of paper. Right. Like, this is not all that their need is. They're human beings, you know, and starting off with early education is key. And I think that's something that, you know, if people like put more time into that and accepted them and brought them in, things would probably be a lot better for a lot of those kids.
You know, it reminds me of the story. You know, we're at you say a lot of people don't get to, you know, interact with, you know, with people that are different. We were at a party, and my buddy Jimmy, Jimmy, you remember this?
Jimmy.
Jimmy, so Wyatt's there, you know, we got everybody, families, everything. Yeah. So at one point, Jimmy looks over at me, he's like looks over to Wyatt, he's like, so what's he got?
Yeah, what's he got?
It's like, Down syndrome, Jimmy. He has the Down syndrome. Yeah. Okay, but that's all he said. He's like, and not in a mean, because Jimmy is just the most playful. No, he didn't
do it in a mean way. But
he's like, so what's he got?
But, you know, I've experienced a lot of stuff over the years just with my own kids, like with Wyatt. I mean, I have gone places, like even just a playground. And at the time, Wyatt was like not very verbal. So sometimes he was not aggressive, but he would like grab a kid by the arm and try to get their attention. So right away, a parent would come over and be like, you're hurting my kid. It's like, no, he's not. Right. He's trying to interact. And I'm right there. Like, what are you implying? Like, you think I'm going to let my kid hurt your kid? But it's no different than any kid. I've seen other kids bite each other and hit each other. Just happens that they don't have Down syndrome. You know what I mean? But he has been shunned in some ways by even adults, and it makes me sick.
Well, people are
close-minded and just
like,
stupid.
What is wrong with you?
They can't get past themselves.
Right. It's terrible. But, you know, I've had to have a really thick skin over the years, and, you know, really, you know, as being a single mom too for a long time. I mean, I had 3 kids, you know, and we would go to the store and I would be like, all right, my name is Sybil. I have to have multiple personalities to deal with each one of my kids' issues. Poor Graham. I made him wear a shirt that said, if you met my family, you would understand. Gabby used to wear a shirt that says, I have autism. What's your excuse? And then Wyatt, I'm rocking my extra chromosome. And we would go to the store and I'd be like, go ahead, judge me. Like, I don't care.
We had a family friend growing up on my mom's side of the family. We spent a lot of time with my mom's side of the family, and my dad's too. But our side of the family, we had a family friend who had Down syndrome. He was always there, Ronnie Falmer, with his mom. And they would, I mean, we'd take our summer vacations. We didn't do the beach, and we didn't do Disney World. We would go up to my grandfather's hunting cabin, and we'd spend 2 weeks, you know, up there. And back then, you know, being without technology was no TV and no phone, right? Yeah. But they would come up with us, you know, Ronnie and his mom. So, you know, to your point, there's some folks who are not used to, or, you know, who don't have the experiences.
Right.
Where growing up as a kid, since I can remember, even being a young toddler, they were always a part of our family and always even part of our vacations.
Yeah.
Versus being an older toddler. Yeah,
I've been accused of being an older toddler sometimes, Kevin. So
okay.
I don't know. I guess I'm fortunate because I have a cousin who was born with Down syndrome. She's a year older than myself and a year younger than my sister, and we did Special Olympics. We've just been around her our whole life. And honestly, when I got pregnant with Wyatt, we always kind of knew that there was a chance because it's on my dad's side of the family.
Mm-hmm.
We have what's called a translocation of our 21st chromosome. So the term corrupt is not used anymore, but that's like really what it is. It's a corrupt chromosome. Right. Every person gets one 21st chromosome, get one chromosome from each parent. So the 21st chromosome that my dad gave me was corrupt. So part of it was broke and ended up attached to the 15th chromosome. So I got that corrupt one and then, a regular one. So I was fine, but I could always pass that gene on, which would create Down syndrome. So we kind of knew that because Rutgers University did a study after my cousin Erica was born, and we found out that all of my dad's side were carriers. So then when we had kids, we all had a potential chance of having a child with Down syndrome. But, nobody had any, since Erica, so we didn't think of it. And then here I had Wyatt, my third kid, and it was like, oh, but then my dad and my uncles used to say they remembered possibly having another cousin at some point that was born with Down syndrome and passed away. But back then it was like you kept that quiet. You didn't talk about, even when my cousin Erica was born, it was like, hey, we'll take her and take good care of her. My aunt and uncle were like, no, we're going to take her home.
Right.
Like she's our child. So when I had Wyatt there, we did all this like family, like research and stuff. And then, so none of my kids besides Wyatt obviously has Down syndrome. Graham and Gabby are not carriers. My sister's son is not a carrier. And my 3 girl cousins from my one uncle, Erica obviously has Down syndrome, but the other 2 girls are not carriers. And then, or their kids aren't carriers is what I'm trying to say. And then my other aunt, my other 2 cousins, their kids are not carriers either. So there somewhere it broke the cycle.
Right.
But my brother has no kids, so I don't know, like where that would fall into. So,
gotcha.
So, but yeah, all of myself and my siblings and my cousins all are carriers, but our children are not. So.
Well, I got a question for you.
Sorry, that was like a
no. You expanded it. That's great.
So.
We'll find a way to cut that in and kind of splice it back into your original intro.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then there's this ball of twine. So how did you? I'm gonna grab beer. How did you guys meet? Like what? How did Kevin and Jessie get together to be able to have this conversation 5 years later?
So I'm living in this house with my ex-wife, still living together, going through was our divorce finalized? No, so our divorce hadn't been finalized yet. So I had dated 2 girls, or one girl I went out on one date with, and then she brought her 2-year-old son on the first date, and I'm like, that's he was annoying-ish. He was annoying little shit right there. And there was not a second date there. Went on a date with another girl, and actually her birthday's today.
That's great.
That's awesome. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy birthday. Good one, Kevin. So we just watch him now, Jess.
Yeah.
Get it over with.
It's so wonderful to hear all of that.
So it's I was on Plenty of Fish, and the dating site, and I come across Jessica one day. I'm actually sitting in the parking lot getting ready to go into work. The boss was running a little bit late, so I'm on Plenty of Fish, and there is Jessica, and she was cute. She is cute. Besides
her
when
picture,
you call someone cute, that's like
adorable.
Was it just her picture that caught your eye, or?
Yeah. Well, that's you're swiping left, swiping right. You just
Yeah, I'm sure Kevin was a player.
You need to rewind and hear what was just said.
Yeah,
it was great.
So all the girls that have the profile pics of them in a public bathroom, you swipe the other way on that one. And then Jessica, I swiped the correct way. I don't know which way that was now, but and then
I don't even think there is a swiping. I think you have to message the person.
No, you swipe.
I don't remember. It was so long ago.
So it's not like I'm still on it. So
are you still on it? I don't know. When people's birthdays are that you 5 years later that you went on one date with.
No, we went on like 2 dates.
Well, is this the Brandy? Because I was called Brandy.
He's like, by the way, today's her birthday.
Yeah.
No, Kevin Shahan's no longer on. Shevin Cahan may be on, but Kevin Shahan is no longer on.
So today is Brandy's birthday.
Yeah. Okay. You keep bringing it up. Would you like to wish her a happy birthday? Let's call her up. Let's ask her to be on the podcast. Hey, Brandy, it's Valentine's Day and it's your birthday. Come on our podcast.
So you're the one that just brought up her name.
No,
I didn't even bring up her name. You're the one.
Jess, in all fairness, she may have a boyfriend or maybe she may be good couples.
But Kevin,
she does.
You're trying to twist that onto me. Really? Yeah. Good try. Good try.
So
it's all good.
So actually, one of Jessica and I, actually, our first date almost didn't happen.
I don't want you to tell this story anymore because you suck at it.
It's
horrible.
I think Jess
going to
should
the
take
Celtic Ray.
over. Yeah. Oh, are you talking about our first date?
Yeah. So we meet up at the Celtic Ray. I'm already inside. So I don't want to be on my phone. So I got my phone in my pocket, turned off. Apparently Jessica's outside texting, like, where are you? She's getting ready to leave. And then I finally look at my phone, so she's outside. She didn't know. Everybody else, if you know the Ray, you come in through the back entrance. You don't hang out
First off, I had never been there.
Yeah.
Told you I'd never been there.
So we have our
felt like I was being stood up.
So we have our first date. At one point of the date, I go to the bathroom. When I come back, it had been a few minutes since I come back. Jessica looks over at the bar. I'm at the bar, and there's some girl at the bar touching my beard. So I come back to the table, and she goes, "Does that happen a lot?" And I go, "More times than you'd think." So
yes, I have found that out over the years.
And was that the hook right there?
No, people will touch his beard, and I'm like, what? The actual hell is happening.
Yeah, who
goes up to complete strangers and just touch their goddamn beard?
It's like rubbing a pregnant lady's belly.
I would have bitch slapped her.
That old lady at Publix.
We weren't on our first date.
That old lady at Publix loves my beard. Every time I see her, she's working the produce.
I find that very
and
odd.
She comes up, she pulls me in real tight, and then she touches my beard.
Yeah, I find that so, I don't know. That's
our first date's way boring.
I know. We suck compared to them.
So that was our first date. We went to an Irish pub, but I don't even know how, like, I hadn't dated in almost 10 years, like, at all. Like, my friend Dustin and Shani were like, that's it. We're putting you on dating sites. And I was like, no, don't do it. And they were like, you have to at least go get something. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. You need to get out there and do it without kids. And I was like, all right. Like,
Kev, you got to be proud of that after 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're it?
Yeah, I hadn't been with anyone. I mean,
she settled.
But I dated, but I didn't like I didn't put myself out there. Like, I had gone on like some dates with some people, whatever, but not anything like, nobody met my kids. Like, that was like number one rule. Like, nope, I'm not looking for a baby daddy. Like, I got this. I'm a single mom. I pay my own bills. I don't need shit from nobody. I just want to fill a different need. And anyway, at the time it was just about filling a different need. I think
Kevin just learned something.
I didn't need the other parent. I was mom and dad. I didn't need that. I just needed the other.
I was used for sexual favors.
Just all I needed. And then, so my friend Dustin and Shani actually were really concerned about my well-being and kept saying, you really need to go and put yourself out there. So I'd gone on a few dates off of Plenty of Fish, and there was this one guy that I kind of was like, oh, he's kind of cool. But he lives kind of far away, and we had gone on a few dates, and I was like, this isn't going to work. Like, I don't want long term. I don't want to do it. Like, even that was too much. So then Kevin and I started talking, but then I was taking Graham he graduated high school, and I was taking him on a trip to New York. That's what he wanted for his graduation gift. And so me and him were getting on a plane, and like, we hadn't even like gone on a date yet. So we were like talking, and I was on like my trip. And then when I got back, we finally like met up. And then it kind of like the second date was a trip to his parents' house for dinner.
Met my sister and her, because I'm like, hey, I got it because my sister's in town, her family. I'm going over to have dinner, and then I'm like, you want to come over?
He's like Wallowitz.
Like, he is.
Hey, my mom's making a brisket. I need a head count.
Then he lays on me that
he
still lives with his ex-wife. She's in the living room. He's in the bedroom because she's paying him rent. They're in the middle of I think you were just about almost done with your divorce.
Yeah.
But like, I was like, what am I getting myself into? Like, do I even want to get involved in this? I wouldn't let him meet my kids. My mom stopped talking to me because I was dating this person that was going to be around my kids. I didn't talk to my parent, my mom, for like almost 6 months. That's how mad she was that I would even introduce anyone to my kids. And I kept thinking to myself, he better be fucking worth all the shit I'm getting put through here with my life, my family, everything. And like, he was doing the most to me. Like, we even went on we even had dinner with his ex-wife at a place. I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing here?
You did live closer, Kevin.
I don't know how I don't know.
How long have you
did live closer.
How long did you guys date before you got engaged?
Well, before we got engaged, almost 2 years. Because he asked me every day, and I said no. Asked me again in a year.
Oh my God, you are so Big Bang Theory.
He asked me.
We're
even
now on to Penny and
Abe's radio
I was a
station.
guest on KMA, and then Paul had asked me a question like what's the future of you guys or something, and on live on air, and I'm like, hey, you want to marry me?
Ask
and then
me
she goes, ask me again in a year. So
wow.
And even now, like, so Kevin, we all know he's flamboyant and wants the attention. I am more private. No offense to anybody. I'm not trying to look for anybody to know anything really about me that much, but you know, Kevin is all about like, look at me. So when he finally asked me appropriately, it was in front of my son and my brother. And I was in my pajamas and everything. So, but still, even now it's like, I don't even know if we'll get married or when we'll get married, because that's a whole nother issue with just my kids, you know, like as far as their future goes, like Wyatt needs his disability and stuff, and like the way everything is income wise, it just doesn't seem fair to take that potential away from him. It's like I have to think of everybody but myself at this point, you know.
Completely understandable.
You understand that.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, maybe when they're 18 years old,
because unfortunately a single mom, you know, certain government benefits or insurance or
his insurance,
you know, tax breaks. Once you're married, it completely changes or even gets it taken away.
Oh yeah, with my income, she loses everything.
And here's the other thing too. It's like, I'm never going to ask Kevin to take on that responsibility. I get no child support at all. I'm okay with that. It's fine. That's a whole nother separate thing. But Gabby and Wyatt need to be taken care of, and I'll do whatever it takes. Like, I just had to have like a huge Social Security hearing. It's been going on for a long time because I make a little bit more money now being a store manager. So now they say, oh, well, you as a single mom with 2 kids make too much money, and now you owe us all this money. And I'm like, okay, he's never going to not be Down syndrome. He's never not going to have his medical issues. His medication alone is $200 a month.
Yeah. Don't get me started on the government programs and how they fuck you over with that.
I went to appeals court over the phone and over Zoom because you can't go there in person anymore. You know, it's been a huge challenge for me. So I always tell Kevin, I'm like, no offense, it's just not worth getting married. It's just not worth it.
And then my daughter has told me, and I think she put it on Facebook once, and And if anybody like said that, no, I have two children, Amber and Kevin Jr. Amber's 25, Kevin Jr. is 21.
No, he's not. He's 22.
22.
Going to be 23.
Going to be 23 soon in September. So Amber says
maybe he should be on Plenty of Fish. Maybe you know his age.
Yeah,
his birthday.
So Amber has said several times, "Hey, Dad, if you screw this up, I'm going with Jessica."
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, I kind of get the same feeling too.
So how did you and Jen meet?
You want to start?
Yes, I will.
And then we'll get the truth.
No, well, when I moved down here in South Carolina, Greenville, I didn't know a soul. Like I my ex is from Charleston. She agreed. She moved down with the kids. I want to be closer. Looking for a job. The closest I could get was Greenville, which is 3 hours north. So when I got here, I didn't know a soul. I knew the guy who hired me. That was about it. And I worked for this hospice company. So I was like, you know what? I got to start dating. I dated a girl up in Pennsylvania and moved down here. We broke up, moved down here. And I'm like, I just want to, meet people. So I'll just try a dating site and see who I can meet. And I went on Plenty of Fish because it was free because I had no money. When I moved down here, I picked the apartment that I lived in, right, from online, and the pictures online were phenomenal, right? So I roll into Greenville at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, all right, this is a nice area. Then I'm like, okay, this is a shitty area. Then I get, okay, this is a nice area. And then I'm like going down this road and I see these really neat townhomes on the left. I'm like, okay, I'm getting closer. It says your destination's on your right. I look over and I'm like, all right, 2-bedroom townhome. It was inexpensive. I didn't live in a place where like criminals lived. I lived in a place where I think people lived where they didn't want to be found.
There were definitely people hiding there.
There was definitely people. It wasn't like an active, criminal site. It was one of those ones where you'd see people, you're like, okay, I know where I am. And it was like every night you'd hear beep, beep, beep. Someone's car's getting repoed, and then you see everybody's windows would open up, thinking it was their car getting repoed. But I hopped on Plenty of Fish. I dated a few girls when I was down here and told them the same thing. Look, I'm not looking for anything serious. Just want to get to know people.
Looking for that other thing.
Yeah.
No, even that. It wasn't even that. I just want to get to know people because actually I had an opportunity. I dated a few girls I thought were very, very nice and we got along well. It just wasn't it. There's a couple of girls I went on a couple of dates with, but realistically, it wasn't. There's a lot of like, you show up and you're like, hey, you look nothing like your picture. This is awesome. I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and then there was a few that were just like, when you meet them, they already have like the wedding hall picked out and they're like, oh, I think we're a perfect match. And I was like, oh, really? That's awesome because I don't feel that way. But Jennifer popped on, and I liked her picture. I swiped up, down. I don't know which way you swipe. But I reached out to her, and her and I were chatting. And then the chatting kind of went dead, So I was like, all right, well, I guess she's
for
not.
a month or so.
It was a couple of months. It was like, maybe she's not interested, whatever. So I went on a couple more dates, and then I think I reached out there. I was like, hey, are you still alive? Or should I set a search party out for you?
Search dogs.
Search dogs. And then she started responding again. And then I was like, we want to go out on a date, right? Mm-hmm. And then we met. We ate. Went to sushi place.
We went to Sakura's.
Sakura's for dinner.
They remember everything.
And
Jen back there judging him. Yes.
No one touched my beard.
Yeah.
Kevin, I can't see her, so if I'm saying anything wrong, I need a sign. So we went there. We had a really nice time. And
it was very comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, we really connected well. I mean, it was kind of funny. I had to come all the way to South Carolina to meet someone from New Jersey, right?
Yeah, but since you guys were practically neighbors,
right?
Exactly.
Well, that was really weird because you could look and say, "Here's how many people are within your proximity." It was like,
I didn't even know that. Like I didn't even know about the site. Friends of mine said, just meet and talk to some people, because I had been going through a divorce with my ex, but Joe was going through treatment with leukemia.
Yeah.
He had just been diagnosed. Actually, we just hit 9 years a couple days ago. So
And that's when you fell off communication.
That's when I fell off, because it was in the spring. It was
February.
No, he was diagnosed in February.
Right.
So it was probably March, April-ish. They were ramping up, everything going on, hospitalizations, and he was just not doing well. So, my focus was 1,000% on Joe and being in the hospital, and then also trying to work, because I had to pay bills, keep some sort of roof over our house, which we ended up moving into what we called the shoebox. It was a half mile from where Kerry lived, but it was literally a shoebox. But it fit the needs of having a roof over our heads, being able to get Joe to the hospital, get to work when I could work, and I just didn't have time for anything. But Kerry was from Pennsylvania, and we just started talking, and when he did message me saying, is everything okay, should I send the search dogs, that really reeled me back in.
Yes, that was that's the game I have. So we dated, we kind of went out and dated and stuff, and I don't even think we introduced the kids for a while, right?
It was probably in the summer.
Yeah, it was towards the end of summer when we introduced the kids, because
I think there's a story about how you finally, I think, Kerr, you finally realized, like, you were boyfriend, girlfriend.
Oh, no, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Trust me. I'm getting there.
You had met Joe earlier
Joe
at Waffle House.
Yeah, I met Joe at Waffle House. And then...
Just calm down, Kerry. Jess will pick up here.
Yeah, I know. Thanks, Jess.
It clicked.
Anything
clicked
else?
And I was like, man, sorry.
The girls are judging you now.
I know.
Just know this.
I'm getting there, Jess. Hold your pants on there, sister. Another Jersey person who's trying to step on my mojo. So what ended up happening is in October, I lost my job at hospice, right? And actually, my mom was diagnosed with cancer a month prior in September. So I was gone for about a week. I came back, and the place was a nightmare. Lost my job with them, and then I actually contacted their human resources. They had no idea what was going on with one of the managers here. Laid everything out. I ended up getting laid off with a decent sized severance package, because, believe it or not, I found out through the grapevine that, one of their higher ups did not like me because I'm a Northerner, and because I hired an African American. Yeah, believe it or not, that's how I lost my job. So that was something that a lot of people don't know about. So I was like, I got a job search, and Jen's like, I need a babysitter. I'm like, okay, cool. So Joe and I spent a lot of time together during this time frame. Like, I was watching him, he was coming over. So
you would make him Minecraft pancakes.
Yeah, I'd make Minecraft pancakes and all sorts of stuff. So we hung out, and then
made him throw up.
I made him throw up. That was funny. I won't tell that story now.
I think you should tell the story.
No, we're good. I'm on a roll here. This is really good stuff. It's my story. And it was probably about a year later. It was about a year later,
no,
right?
It was that December.
Was it that December?
Yeah,
Holy shit.
So this had started earlier.
So it was October.
Spring of 2012.
Yeah, so
your brain is like a vault.
No, she reinvents the time frame for me. So it was around Christmas time, and we were getting ready to go to mass, and Jen's like,
December 22nd.
Oh my gosh. She's like, she gets kidney stones. I feel horrible. I'm like, okay, so we're gonna take you to the emergency room. Took her to the emergency room. Joe's like freaking out. At the time I was getting my kids the December 26th. Max would have them leading up to have Christmas, and I would have them the day after Christmas through New Year's. So we were going to have Christmas Day at my apartment, because Jen and Joe were spending some extra time over there. And so the next day, Doc at the emergency room set up an appointment at the urologist. We go to the urologist, and they're like, we need to admit you to the hospital.
You're septic.
Jennifer's sitting on a table,
puking.
she's throwing up in the freaking can, throwing up in a bucket. going, I'm not getting admitted to the hospital. And I'm sitting there going, Jen, you are really not in good shape. And the physician, this nurse practitioner goes, okay. So she walks out. The doc comes in. He goes, hey, I hear that you're giving us some trouble about going to the hospital. She's like, I'm not getting admitted. He goes, here's the deal. You're septic. If you're not admitted, you're going to die. Like, just was about as blunt could be. And she goes, well, and at the time, her ex was away, nowhere to be found. Her parents, her dad and stepmom were in New Jersey. So there was nobody around. She's like, I don't know what to do with Joe. And he goes, well, do you have a place? She's like, well, my boyfriend could take care of him. And I was like, I'm your boyfriend? Like, so Jennifer's puking into a bucket.
3 hours later, I'm in surgery.
She's puking into a bucket, being told that she's septic and about to, could die if she doesn't go to the hospital. Finally, at that moment, acknowledges that we're boyfriend and girlfriend. So she gets admitted to the hospital. They insert a stent. Joe and I are hanging out at the house on Christmas Eve. We visit her. We come back. And then Christmas morning, I took a video of Joseph waking up, walking downstairs, seeing all the stuff that Santa brought because I put it all out already. He opened up one gift, and then we saved the rest because we went to go visit her at the hospital and brought her home.
Oh, I'm about to cry again.
Oh,
yeah, I know. Yeah.
Well, this will make you cry.
The video of him waking up in the morning has got to be one of the funniest things ever.
It's freaking awesome.
Because how old was he?
So it was after his birthday. He was 6.
He was 6. Now, if you talk to him now, you'd never realize that he could have this high-level interactive conversation with an adult. But when you have leukemia and you're around doctors and nurses all the time, you kind of have to. So he's sleeping in my bed. I come up, I wake him up, and I go, Joe, come on, Santa's here. He's like, okay. And he jumps off, and he's under the bed. He goes, as you can see, I'm sleeping in my underwear, because sometimes I do this. I was like, yeah, I see it, Joe. So he puts on his pants, and he comes downstairs, and he's like, oh, my goodness. I think this might be for me.
And he only opened one gift. He wanted to say
he opened up one gift.
He wanted to wait for his mom to come home to open the rest of his gifts.
I can see Kerr like in the movie Big Daddy, just on the way home from the Jen's in the hospital, just looking at Joe, go, you wipe your own ass.
Well, luckily, I had 2 kids, and single parent wise, like. When we split, Wyatt was just like 3 months old, right? And Emma was what, 3?
Should be, 3, almost 4.
3. So I would get them 2 weeks. I was by myself in Pittsburgh at the time when I came here, so I had them like by myself. Like I couldn't be like, oh yeah, it's my weekend with the kids. I want to drop them off at my mom and dad's. Like it was me, with them. So you learn all that stuff. But yeah, Jennifer.
I love that we have Wyatts.
Yeah, they brought Jennifer home on a whole bunch of medications that they normally would not send her home. They said that we would normally not send you home, but since it's Christmas Day, we will.
Yeah, I was adamant. My fever had broke. Everything was under control.
Barely remembers the next couple of days.
I don't. It's actually that week was quite foggy. I really don't remember much of it at all, except going to the office to get the stent taken out. And if you guys have never had or seen a urinary stent,
I have.
It's quite interesting.
Yeah.
When the nurse practitioner says you'll just feel a little tug, no. The curly Q at the end of this long tube that gets ripped out of you is insane.
This is love now. We're not talking about
but Kerr
making my
with
urethra itchy.
Kerr was with me in the office the whole time.
All over again versus
it was horrible. But, long story short, we went home and it was, we had a good Christmas together. I went to get my kids, but it was quite an interesting evening. It was. But that was kind of how we met and started dating. And then
we moved in together
and then
June of 2013.
Her lease was up. And I'm like, listen, my lease is up 2 months after your lease. When you're done, come over here and stay, and then we'll get a place. So we got a place. We moved into that place, and then
so it was the first time all the kids were
first
together.
time all the kids were really together, bedrooms, the whole 9 yards. And then I got a ring for her.
We're jumping a couple years.
Yeah,
later.
well, they talked about their engagement. So a couple years later, I got a ring for her, and I was getting ready to fly to Chicago, I think, right?
Yep.
So I went in and I asked her dad permission. They said yes. And I said, well, here, hold the ring in case something happens to me on a flight. At least you can give it to her. So they start crying. I'm like, I'm not dead yet. I'm saying just in case.
Yeah, here's the receipt. Return it.
Right, yeah. Make sure she gets it because I'm dead, and I think that amount will be paid off. So we had a big family get-together on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And Joe always used to say, don't you have to do that knee thing? The knee thing? So I said, I was like, hey, I just want to give a toast. My whole family's here. And I said, I got to do the knee thing. And she said, what? And I got down on one knee and I proposed to her. And she didn't say yes.
I did say yes. If we have it on videotape and I have the clip.
She goes,
you didn't ask me.
She starts crying. Joseph gets all emotional and runs away. So we're in there like calming Joe down. And we come out and everybody's like happy. And I'm like, you'd say yes.
I said, you didn't ask me. And then he finally said, because the kids said it with you, Jen, will you marry me? And then I said yes. So leading up to that, you didn't actually say those words.
I didn't say yes at first. I'm just saying. You took the ring, though.
And now we've been engaged for 5 years. We've been together for almost 9.
Yeah, I got Jessica it was a 100-year-old ring. It was a Victorian, because we both really love the Victorian era. So I hunted for a Victorian.
I told him that honestly, I'm not a huge jewelry person. I don't really wear any jewelry. Actually, if I wear earrings, it has to be like gold because I am allergic to metals. Like I can't even wear certain eyeglasses with metal because it will eat at my skin. It's terrible. So I can't even wear like necklaces sometimes because all of a sudden I'll break out in hives. So I told him, I was like, I don't want some stupid ring. Like, if you're going to get me a ring, get me something that I could actually, like, love and has some history to it. Belong to somebody else who, you know.
Don't get me some stupid ring.
Well, I didn't want some, like, fancy. I don't need a big I don't care about all that big. For me, it was, like, I wanted something that was, that was old, Victorian, something that, like, had a story to it. Right. You know that. It meant I don't know, because back then people like courted each other and loved each other, and it would like there was like meaning behind stuff. Now everyone just kind of, I feel like, trades things in when they get bored, so I was like, if you're gonna do it right.
So I was showing rings to her sister online and going back and forth.
And now mind you, I love my sister, but she's very bougie,
Yeah, so I know.
So I get called that as well when I'm not in my scrubs.
Yeah, but Samantha though.
Buy it from my niece, from our niece.
So I got the one that I thought that I liked, and then I also wanted one that didn't need to be sized. I wanted to find the exact same finger.
I was gonna thought you said where you can like pinch it to make it bigger or smaller.
Yeah, no, yeah, I wanted a different one, but that claw machine that just has to scratch that. But yeah. So,
and I wanted, and I really love rose gold. Like I just think it's so beautiful. And I didn't want a diamond. I wanted a unique stone. Yeah. So,
Yeah, bougie. Sammy calls you bougie when you buy kale.
Well, I am bougie with certain things, just because I do like certain things. I love the brand Coach, so our closet is head to toe.
Now that's funny you said that, because that's what my sister did for almost 15 years. She was
I have an amazing shoe collection,
which
we don't go anywhere with, but
director, manager, or a DM for Coach for 15 years. Awesome. And then when they basically like sold out, they offered her a package deal and she took it, and then now she works for Alex and Ani. The bracelets and everything that do, but she did that for like 15 years. She went to FIT, the Fashion Institute in New York, and she worked for like Victoria's Secrets for a long time, and then Coach was like her main thing, but Coach has like really drifted to something else.
It has. Some of their items aren't very good, or they'll do collaborations that really just suck.
So who'd have thought that?
I do like the more classics.
So who'd have thought that one day Coach would be like just an everyday item, and then what we used to wear as kid, Champion, that you used to get at Walmart, was like now Champion is this luxury brand now.
It is. They did a whole Mario Brothers
funny
collaboration, and it's so expensive.
My brother played baseball at Wilmington College, and he played in the early '80s, and they went to the Small College World Series, and all of his stuff that he got was Champion. He had Champion cleats, all this Champion stuff, and everybody was like, "Oh, what Nike or Converse? We got to get this Bobo, Champion, company." Now, like you said, they're huge.
Yeah. I don't care what anyone says. Champion made the best sweatshirts.
Oh yeah,
they did.
What says.
Best
there was
hoodies.
Best
awesome.
Sweatpants, sweatshirts. You kidding me? Hands down was the best.
No, I agree.
It fit right, you know?
Yeah, I was always a big, and I remember getting my brother's stuff and always liking Champion, but always like, the hell, Champion's like nowhere to be found, And
I was a huge Puma and Adidas
I
fan.
love Puma too. And
Puma
Adidas.
shoes.
So here's you mentioned Adidas. Here's a fun fact that most people may not know. It is not pronounced Adidas.
What is it pronounced?
The family name, that is the family name. It's Adidas.
Okay, nobody's saying that.
No one says it. Not in the U.S. anyway.
The correct name is Adidas.
I thought it was All Day I Dream About Sports.
No, I don't know. The family call.
I don't know. Did you watch it on something? Where
No. It was a documentary like on sports, really? Clothing and stuff, and that had the family, and then that was the guy said like most people pronounce our name wrong.
Well,
it's Adidas.
It's Adidas. It sounds better.
You got to Americanize it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fun fact. Yes. And
because did you learn that in your library when you were doing
Dewey Decimal System?
Categorizing?
Yeah, they had it phonetically spelled. Yes, that's how I learned it.
Oh my god!
We'll see, plenty of fish. Who'd have thunk it, right?
Yeah. So you got K and J. We met on POF.
Yeah.
Where me and Jen are both from Jersey. You two are the oddballs as far as where you're from.
So we've talked about. So now everybody knows how the couples met. And I've thought about it. Kerr, how did you? Obviously, you and I met, and then the girls were forced to be best friends. But
I don't think we had to be forced.
How did we meet?
It was very
Kerr?
natural.
What was the story there? I don't know how we first met.
I think I was on Plenty of Fish and I saw your profile, and I swiped left, and I was like, this guy's really cute, and I love his beard. I think just through the cigar, obviously, duh, observe of the obvious. I think it was just, I actually believe it was somewhere around with the Ashholes on their show, and hopping on with Stickman was around. And then, you and I just got to talking, and it just kind of, you wrote one of the nicest letters I've ever had written to me. Now Jennifer's gone. She didn't write me a nice letter like this. But you said in the letter, I can't remember how we met, but it seems like we've always known each other. And you know what? I'll take that better than some wacky ass story on how we met.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think the catalyst was the Ashhole show, and the shows that you guys used to do. And I think from there, it just kind of grew with some commonality. And, obviously, we were talking about it earlier, is your sense of humor. I completely enjoy, and I get. So I don't get all freaking, upset if you freaking poke fun at me or something. I just fire right back at you. And from there, I think it's just that commonality just kind of grew, and we became friends. And then I think you and I talking and realizing that, I was like, yeah, Jen's from Jersey. You're like, Jess is from Jersey. So I think connected that Jersey, the commonality, I mean, that kind of sealed the deal.
It did, but Jess will attest that it's difficult to be friends with other females from New Jersey.
It is.
Because I grew up, and I'm trying to put it nicely, but there's just no way around it. I grew up, and most of my friends were boys, you know, in our neighborhood too, and there were girls, but you just
There's something you want to share that I don't know about?
you just it's definitely a difficult mindset, especially when you're just not like them. You know, I grew up around sports and you know, had an older brother, and you know, Kerry laughs to even think that I was athletic, but I was.
I do. I can't
he still
see
doesn't believe that I used to snowboard and do different sports.
Can't
Oh,
see
that's
it.
awesome.
But it's just the cattiness and the bitchiness, and it's just I just really, you know,
No,
would rather
and I
be with someone who's more relaxed.
I've
and
seen
chilled.
I've seen you like Trip getting out of the car though. Like I can't see you snowboarding.
I didn't say I did it well.
Okay, well that's
And
fair enough.
trust me, I saw a sports medicine physician up in Boston because I used to rollerblade in Boston and
Rollerblading,
bike
another
and
one.
everything, and it was probably not
All I
the best
picture you is
choice
this
for me.
desperate attempt at trying to do it and keep falling down. That's what's always in my head.
I loved snowboarding, and I think, well, go back to the whole bougie thing. I had a Nissan Xterra when I moved back to New Jersey, and it had just come out too. It was one of the first ones bought at the
It
Nissan
looks rugged.
dealership. My dad was with me, and he was like, "This is what you need," and it was a white one. It was beautiful. I got the snowboard rack for it. I had the interior bike rack for my mountain bike. So, if you're gonna buy all this stuff, I might as well go down to Princeton Ski Shop. My
Oh,
brother
sweet
Sean's friend worked there, so I got this great snowboard package. Friends of mine that worked at the hospital I worked at, they're like, "Let's go in and get a chalet up in Killington." Just the word chalet, you're laughing.
I was
So,
I'm going to go to some place called Killington.
yeah.
Yeah. What's
So-
the worst that could happen?
That just sounds expensive though, because I was about as bougie as having a 1979 Jeep CJ7 that the back seat had bolts in the front, not on the back, so I can lift up the back seat and hide beer under it. And when anybody got in the back seat, they'd be like, "Hey, where's our seatbelts?" I'm like, "It's not bolted down the
this
back,
is-
so it's
well-
not going to matter."
I've been in my field 27 years already, so this was already, we're going almost 10 years, you know, working post-college. So the Xterra wasn't initial. Actually, this will make you laugh even more. My first vehicle out of college that I
It was
bought.
your sports car, your Acura.
Yeah, I had an Acura Integra coupe. It was that teal blue. Again, my dad came up to Boston. He really didn't dissuade me from it. He's like, "Sure, you can do this." Cosign, thanks, Dad. Had a
Mine was an '87 Honda Accord
Acura
I bought for my
Integra
neighbor.
in snowy Boston. Tell
I
me
was
how
gonna
horrible
say,
that was.
That's what I did. I paid $500 for a Nissan Sentra for my neighbor, 4-door. I think it lasted me 6 months before it like caught on fire. And then I bought another car for $75 for my neighbor, a Pontiac Le Mans with a push-button radio that got me to point A to point B. And then I sold it for $200, and it got smashed at the monster trucks. And I got
My
to
very
walk it
first
to
car that I
college.
bought.
It was awesome. And then I had a van for a really long time.
My Nissan Pulsar was my very first car in high school that I bought myself. I did save up.
You Northern Jersey girls.
Yep.
Wow.
But I had the two-door Nissan Pulsar.
I've always
to drive
had cool
around.
cars. Yeah, I remember we were dating, and I think it was kind of serious, and like your starter went out on your van,
Kinda serious,
and like her
my
dad
belt.
always took care of her took care of her stuff, and then it was like, "Hey, you're dating a mechanic. Let him fix it now." You know, and that was like her dad pawning her off on
First
me.
off,
That's awesome.
I am not so much now. I'm much better. I haven't run out of gas in a really long time, but I am notorious for driving pieces of shit vehicles. Like, it's point A to point B. I don't care. I put Band-Aids on everything. I don't fill it with gas, and my excuse is my gas gauge is broken, so I didn't know I ran out of gas. So my dad would have to find me. It could be an hour away. Be like, I need gas in my car. And he would come with the gas can and put gas in my car. Anything that was ever broken. I mean, he always was there for the rescue. Even my sister, she lived in New Jersey. My dad's living here in Florida, and she'd call him and he'd be like, "Well, what do you want me to do? I don't live near you." She's like, "Help me. I'm broken down on the side of the road." He's like, "Call somebody who's close."
We grew up getting cars that my dad could fix because my dad's a mechanic. That's what he did. There was a 69, Oldsmobile. There's a 72 Pontiac, and it was always stuff that he could work on and fix. So when I got my Jeep, we could fix it. Oh, the axle broke, we could fix it. But my gas gauge didn't work either. And I ran out of gas so many times in that thing because it got 8 miles at a gallon. It had a 304 in it. I mean, it sounded cool. It was fast and looked cool.
Yeah.
And I actually did a lap. I was going to school in Delaware, down in Dover. And my buddy and I, we were out drinking all night. So we went to Denny's and had some breakfast. And they were having the Dover Downs. They were having the NASCAR race there. And we knew a guy who did the security cameras. He did all the electronics in there. So we drove back, and it was a couple days beforehand. So we drove back. The lady's like, "What are you here for?" We're like, "Oh, we're here to see Norm for the security." She's like, "Okay, go ahead." So we drive forward, drive the next lady. She's like, "What are you here for?" We're like, "We're here for Norm. He does the security. We're here to do some work with him." She's like, "Okay, go ahead." My buddy looks at me and goes, we're really getting close to the freaking stadium. Like to the raceway. So we pull up, last guy, "What are you here for?" I said, "Norm, he does the race." He goes, "Yeah." I said, "We're here to help him out, because Norm used to come to our bar." And we're like, he's doing some security. He's like, "Okay." We pull up, and the doors open that leads out to the back straightaway of the Dover Downs. And I looked at my buddy, and he goes, "Dude, if we do this, we're going to get arrested." And I gunned it. Boom! Down the back straightaway of my Jeep. And it's a mile, so those embankments are like this. So I get down, I'm like, I can't, there's no way we'll roll. So we go around the third and fourth turn, and I gun it down the freaking straightaway. We're screaming and we're yelling. We go through the second and third turn. We go out the back and split. They have all the different cars are in the freaking pits. You can see them all like coming in. So later on that night, we're working at the bar, and the bar we worked at was connected with a hotel where all the drivers stayed and all their pit crew. So the Tide Racing team was there, and they were giving out hats and stuff, and they were talking. They're like, "Yeah, man, these two jackasses were on a Jeep today on the track." He's like, "Man," and my buddy goes, "That was us. That was us." He goes, "They called the cops, man. They're getting ready to have you arrested. You could have rolled that thing on that track. We had it under control, man. We had it under control the whole time."
Oh my God. That's so funny. God. I know we used to always, my dad, that was the best thing about like being near my grandparents. Like we all lived near each other. My dad, like we always had like beat up things, but like they always worked on stuff. But man, we would do some dumb stuff.
So when she moved in with me,
yeah, poor Kevin. He was horrified. And then like, what is happening? In this broke-ass Kia Sedona minivan.
So one day it starts making some noise, like engine noise, and I'm like, we're going to get something else. So, so now
I drive a Denali that if I ever lose my job, I will be sleeping in.
Yeah,
I have never had a nice vehicle ever.
So she drives a GMC Terrain Denali.
Yeah, so I pay for it. Yes. I mean, I pay for it. Yeah. So it's definitely, but I mean, I've always I don't know. I just never cared about vehicles. I don't need anything like glitzy or glamorous. I just needed to get point A to point B. Especially when I was a single mom, it was always like, okay, I just need to get here to get there. And when I lived in North Carolina, I had an Explorer. It was the last model that they made when those transmissions would blow up. So I was a one-on-one caretaker for a client that I had for like 3 years, and their family was so generous to me. My transmission blew up, so they would let me borrow their vehicle, and then I had 2 friends that we would alternate. So we had a schedule. So I had 3 people that were helping me. So 2 days I would get someone else's vehicle. Another 2 days I would get someone else's vehicle until I got mine fixed. And it was like a mom and pop shop, and it took me a while to pay for it. But I've always had, or somebody like a friend of mine's brother would fix it for like a case of beer, always.
I miss that from back home. We always had friends who had my dad always had a garage. It was like, because in Pennsylvania, you have to have inspection.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, well, just take it over to such and such. She'll just slap an inspection sticker on it, if it didn't meet the emissions. And when I worked at Enterprise Rent-A-Car, I worked in our car sale division. So I always bought used cars. We go to the auction. And I was like, why should I buy a brand new car off the lot? The only new car I ever bought was my Altima. I bought brand new. And I drove that till it was 325,000 miles on it. It died.
Smoked.
It died pulling it in for the trade-in.
Yeah, there's
Kevin is he like has a new car every 2 years or so.
Yeah, but you talking about like the small towns and how people help each other out. Our friend Justin, him and his buddy, they took a motorcycle trip and they made it to like North Carolina, and their motorcycle broke, and there's some small little town, and they found a guy because Justin's motorcycle was vintage, it was old, and found a guy, happened to be in a town with a motorcycle guy, and it was on a Sunday. So knocked on the door. Hey, we heard, you work on motorcycles. Spent like half the day getting his motorcycle up and running. At the end of the day, Justin goes, well, how much I owe you? And the guy goes, we don't work on Sundays. It's like, if I take your money, that means I worked on a Sunday. And he goes, you guys continue your journey.
What's funny is my stepbrother had something similar happen. He redoes buses, right? So he'll buy a school bus for like $1,000, and he just redoes everything inside, and he lives in them and drives. He was doing a trip, and he was going to swing by and visit us. He actually ended up swinging by and visiting real quick, but the engine blew in North Carolina, and he was working on it, trying to do everything in his garage. I mean, in a parking lot. And he met up with a guy that he was trying to get. He was looking to replace an engine. He's like, listen, you can't replace an engine in a freaking parking lot. They towed it to his spot. He had this big freaking garage. It was, he's telling me it was the guy who owns Gravedigger.
Oh, really? Truck. Dennis Anderson.
And he said it was his garage. And he said, he goes, they got me this engine. They got it for me cheap. He goes, it was shipped. He goes, I did everything. And I was like, what do I owe you? They're like, yeah, have fun, man. Take care.
Oh, that's so cool. I love
it's really cool when you meet people like that that just completely.
There are people in this world.
But I feel like that's how I've always lived my life, is always pay it forward, because I've had so many incredible things happen to me. Like, I know for a fact that I would not have survived what I went through, getting divorced, having Wyatt and Gabby, like especially with Wyatt and like Graham, just would not have survived that without the kindness of people. And I've always paid it forward, always. 100%, and I don't know why not a lot of people do that.
It's amazing that people don't appreciate that and understand that. That's why when you do run into individuals that are generous like that, it becomes that much more special. And I've always appreciated the conversations I've had with Kevin, going back to the question on how long I've known him. But you know what, Kevin, and you're like me, Kevin, anytime anybody's had any questions or anybody who has any issues when it comes to StreamYard, ideas on promotions, always there to help out and give people help and not be jealous of them or try and push them off. And I've always appreciated all the support you've given me and given us throughout the years, especially with ideas and thoughts and just different ways of handling things and promoting things. And you find there's not a lot of people like that,
No,
because someone's always afraid that you're going to get bigger than them. And you know what? That is such a freaking insecurity. It's like, listen, you help each other. If someone gets bigger than you, then so be it. That's you should be happy about that.
We don't ask for anything in return either.
No,
people expect things in return.
Right, and Kevin does that stuff. And sometimes I look at him, I go, man, you have a big mouth, but you have a big heart. Because I always know that somewhere's down the line that sometimes it's probably going to bite him in the ass, but he wouldn't be who he is if he didn't do those things.
It does bite you in the ass. I've had it bite me in the ass several times, but you know what? My thoughts are, why should I let someone's ignorance or insecurity change who I am? I'm going to continue to be who I am.
Right. I agree.
I'll learn.
That's why
I'll learn.
Well, he does too, but there's certain things that, he'll say something to me and I'm like, well, you kind of set yourself up for that. But he's never not helped somebody. It doesn't matter who it is. Like, even if it's somebody who's actually kind of wronged him, he'll still kind of try to help them. And I'm like, man, you're good for that. I'm a little Jersey in that sense. Like,
I'm very spiteful. So that's
absolutely it. You're dead to me. That's it.
They're on the list, Jess. They're on the list, and they're not coming off.
There's no way.
That's Jessica. Once you're on that list.
Oh yeah.
There's no way off.
The only person who's ever been on the shit list with Jennifer and got off of it
is Duncan.
Duncan.
And he knows it.
and the reason why is Duncan is genuinely one of the nicest, most giving guys you'd ever want to meet. I mean, and we all, like I said before, we all have our disagreements. We all have our moments where we overreact or we overthink or we assume something and then we act out on it. But I've been friends with Duncan for how long now?
Oh, geez. 7
years. I mean, we've been on a show. We started the show 5 years ago.
Yeah, so 6, 7 years.
6, 7 years, and he's one of my closest friends. I love him dearly, and he knows when he's on the shit list with Jennifer because he'll call, he'll be like, "Man, tell Jennifer I apologize." I'm like, "Nope," and then he'll call Jen. He's apologized, and he comes from a good place, you know. Duncan is family. He's been here. He met my dad. He's hung out with my dad. We've done a show together. So he's the rarity that when you get on that shit list, you're on for good.
Just because
for good reason.
We are natural. We are who we are. We're very kind, giving people, and you know, it's just we do pay it forward a lot, and it's very difficult for me to understand why people do certain things.
I agree.
And do you guys have the same conversations we have where Jennifer will be like, why? And I'm like, I don't know and I don't care.
Yeah. All the time. It drives me insane. Absolutely.
Did you see? Yes, I did. What do you think? I don't know. I don't care.
Well, what are you going to do about it?
Nothing.
But you want to know something is
that's why I'm behind the scenes. So this is all new to me, being up front.
Yeah. But I am a fierce protector. Like I will tear someone apart, and it is scary. And Kevin is scary.
Oh yeah, I go red.
Therefore, if I'm to unleash that on someone else, and it's not, you know, they should be afraid. And that's why Kevin's like, no, we can't. Like, just don't worry about it. And I'm like, what? And then I have to like remind myself, like, I can't get myself worked up. I don't.
You can't.
You know. Well, Jess, I think you'll agree with this. When you're raising children that need you. And you're everything to them, and you're the ones that keep them going. It's really tough to turn that off at times.
It is. It is. And for me, like, I know for me, like, a lot of times is like, I have used like comedy or laughter just to get through the day because nobody knows what it's like. I could easily just sit in my bed and curl up in a ball and just die. I mean, there's been times where I have felt like I can't accomplish anything in life. Like I just felt defeated, and you know, and I'm sure there's tons of people out there that feel that way, but I just choose to be better than myself and just keep going forward and keep pushing forward and giving back and like, you know, putting myself in that mindset. And sometimes it's not easy. And then when people do stuff, I want to be like, how dare you?
See, Kevin, you are rubbing off, Kevin. You see how far she's come?
Well, I agree, because
we do the same thing. She'll be like, why don't you say it? I'm like, I go, Jennifer, what do you want the outcome to be?
But it's
nothing. We got to say it. I go, if there's no outcome, because there's a
principle, and there's a level of respect and common decency. And I was raised a certain way, and I have never, ever in my life thought I had the right to shit on somebody, ever.
No,
and there are people out there who feel it's their God-given right to go shit on people.
That's because they justify it. They justify it in their own brain.
And here I am. Then I am the.
And then how do you argue with that?
Their shitstorm.
Wow, fucking, she's one of the freaking horsemen of the apocalypse, Kevin.
I do not.
Did you just hear that? I am the reckoning.
I am the reckoning to their shit.
There's our new T-shirt.
I'm sitting here going, well, listen, if someone actually justifies it in their own head, right? If they justify it in their own head, how can you change that? I'm the reckoning. Case closed.
I am the judge, the jury, and the executioner.
Because you know why? You know why I can say that as for myself? I will be 100% why. It's because I watched my son die 3 fucking times.
Right.
I have literally been at the doctor's since the time he was born until he was 10 years old. He's had 15 surgeries. I have literally sacrificed juggling, being a single mom of 3 kids, borrowing, begging, stealing, whatever I needed to do, leaving my kids with complete strangers because I didn't have the support that I needed. So I will be damned if I ever have somebody come and tell me that I'm a bad person or that the person that I'm with is a bad person, because I will fucking school you. Because they do not.
I'm gonna have to hit that little button that says, "Is there explicit information?" Yes, most definitely, yes. But
I'm gonna stand behind Jess. She can just go straight forward.
I'm gonna say but you know what? There's a lot of passion behind it. Is there like a little asterisk I can put next to the explicit information? There's a lot of passion.
But I'm telling you, I've been around families where they can't even touch their children. They're literally, their chest is ripped open, waiting for another child to die to get a heart transplant.
Right.
When you can get yourself into a position where you can humble yourself and realize there is some other people out there going through more shit than you can ever imagine, then maybe you won't say some dumb ass shit to people.
Well, but you know what? They're still going to do that, though, Jess. That's the thing. They are. And and that's what Kerry's helped me come to terms with.
I don't know if I'll ever come to terms with it. I tell Kevin all the time. I'm
available Wednesdays for therapy, Jess. I can help.
Literally, if I had a superpower, it would be lighting people on fire with my eyes.
I think that's awesome.
Light people on fire. I just look at it and be like, "You're on fire now." That's it. Goodbye.
That's a great one. I'm good with that.
I can't.
I'd like invisibility.
Apparently, me too.
Yeah.
But I'm that type of person
now.
who.
Now would be good.
Are you seriously?
No.
Wow, way to support me. That's great. No. That's real fantastic, Kevin.
No, but it is very. It makes you very angry.
And look at Kerr. He's hiding over there.
Well,
he's just sucking out.
Well, so when somebody screenshots that, Kerr's like, I wasn't on camera. That wasn't me. Like Shaggy.
I don't care. I don't care if people agree with me or disagree with me. This is my personal opinion on things, and normally I don't ever.
And that's what this show is about.
I don't talk about politics. I don't talk bad about anybody. I have never come out publicly on Facebook or Instagram or anything ever on a show. Nothing. I've never called anybody out by name or who they are or what they do.
Privately.
Privately is different. Privately, I can say whatever the hell I want.
No, I'm teasing you because you know what? I
have heard people say some really messed up stuff. You know, don't raise your hand.
I like to say something. I'm like the teacher. Like that smart ass nun that never called on me because I'd say something stupid. I was like, then I'd be like,
me, please. Go ahead, Kerr. Go ahead. I'll give you the floor.
No, you're right because there's people who publicly say stuff, which what, and I'm friends with a lot of folks, as you guys are, and it's like I know there's some folks who don't get along. I'm like, listen, that's your gig, not my gig.
Right.
I'm not getting in the middle of it. If you don't like A and you don't like B, don't fucking bring me in. This isn't middle school. I'm not gonna not like this person because my friend doesn't like him. But there's one thing I fucking hate. One thing I hate when I see it on Facebook or anything else is passive aggressive. I'd rather have someone say Kerr is an asshole and post it
my face.
And post it or come on my show and talk to me about it than post something so passive aggressive.
Yeah.
Where people are like, hey, are they talking about you? I said, I don't know. I don't care. If they are, then their little Mary Janes that they're wearing, they need to grow a set. I hate the passive aggressive stuff, and I think that we see way too much of it. And
it's cowardice.
It is cowardice.
And the worst thing, and it's the passive aggressive people that use Christianity behind their passive aggressiveness, and you see that all over. There's at least a dozen people.
I don't know.
I don't know about that one. I can't speak for that one because. I hear what you're saying because
I do. I understand where
you do see some things, and I've seen other people. I've seen people pop stuff like that off, and I'm like, whatever. But I think
it could be the same about people who are so anti-Christian.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, or the people. I've seen a lot of people that are anti-Christian that will sit there and be anti-Christian in your face, but as soon as you say something, the first thing they want to do is quote the Bible, and I'm sitting there going, whoa. You're anti-Christian. You don't get to quote the Bible and say, shouldn't you be XYZ as a Christian if you're anti-Christian? It doesn't go that way, in my opinion. Yeah. If you want to talk about Christianity, we could both be on the same page. But you can't say, hey, you're supposed to be a Christian. Why don't you do XYZ? Well, you don't believe in it, so why would you be offended by it?
Right.
On that note, I have seen folks use it as a vehicle, but I've seen a lot of folks
they use it as a weapon.
Well, they use it as a weapon. I've seen people.
My ex-husband used it as a weapon.
Yeah.
It's very over, like he was diehard, very religious, and he used to like jump from church to church because like he would argue that they're wrong about what they were saying.
Well, yeah, my dad would say religion's not a freaking park bench. Yeah. You don't find one that's comfortable for you and sit on it.
Right.
That's not the way it fucking works.
But he used to use religion and Christianity as a weapon, and you don't get to use God's word as a weapon.
I've had that done with me. I've had that done with me.
Not okay. That is not okay. Not
cool.
That is not cool at all.
No, it's not. It's not cool when someone says, hey, you're a Christian, so you feel this. And I'm like, really? Because you don't be that person that doesn't want to be judged by a religious person, but yet judge a religious person because they're religious.
Right.
And it's kind of like, it boils down to the one thing. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what you believe. I don't care what political affiliation you have. If you're a good person, you have a good heart, that's what matters most to me. I don't care. I don't care what your sexual. I don't care what your sexual orientation is. I don't care how you identify. I don't care who you're attracted to. I don't care who you voted for. If you're a good person, that to me is the most important thing, and that's how I'm not going to judge you. That's how I'm going to interact with you. And I have a lot of folks who are the opposite of who I am on many spectrums. But at the end of the day, if you're a good person, you're a family person, you enjoy this, you enjoy that, we have more commonalities than differences. And the differences that we have are so highlighted and so freaking drastic because of what I think fucking society makes it to be.
Yeah.
It draws lines in the sand. Yeah. So I'm sitting there going, fuck, do you have kids? Yes. Do you have a family? Yes. Do you love them? Yes. Do you like cigars? Yes. Do you like this? Yes. Do you like that? I have more commonalities. Did you vote for this person? No. Oh, well, I'm going to draw my line on who you voted for because you're a mother. No, it's so effing stupid.
But what you're saying is really well said, because it just comes down to being a decent human being. And that's what my point was from the beginning. It's like it doesn't matter. There's people out there that are going through so much, but just being a kind person is really what it should be about, and not fake kind, not, hey, because I gained something being kind, just generally being a good person. It is not that hard.
No, it's not. No, it isn't. And there's a lot of people who do good things that they don't need to announce. They do a lot of help. They do a lot of good that you would never know that they do. But something, I'm going to shut up because I can hear you whining up in the background. I could, your lips are probably quivering too. I can tell when Jen's going to interrupt me because her lip looks like but at the end of the day, if you do things because it's the right thing to do, and you don't look for any gain out of it, you are a far better person than most. And that's what I look for, and that's what I completely judge. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Don't be a liar. Don't be a bullshitter. Don't say one thing and do another. Just be yourself, and that's where you can have really some good quality relationships with people from various backgrounds. Go ahead, Jen.
Exactly. Well, working in the hospital, seeing patients and their families day in and day out, their stories are heart-wrenching, and all they want is just a little compassion and for people to listen to them and to be kind, and it doesn't take much. And I've had people say, well, how are you so compassionate? I don't understand. I said, it's just who I am. It's not something you learn to be. It's not, you read about it and act it out. It's compassion and just paying it forward, and it's an inner feeling.
And I guess I understand that that's not for everyone. I get that, but it's not hard to
take
it
isn't
2
hard.
minutes out of your day to let someone else be the person, or
exactly. It's very frustrating because it's not difficult. You don't have to be an asshole and
most people
say what you say and just, it definitely is beyond frustrating.
I think most people want to be validated, right? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. People just want to feel some kind of validation about who they are, or how they're feeling, or what's going on. And
exactly.
Taking 2 minutes of that out of your day to validate that person, that's fine. But I get there are people who have core beliefs that cannot do that. They think, this is who I am. This goes against every single thing I believe in. They just can't do it. And
there's no in between there. It's black and white. There's no gray.
And I do have respect for them, but you can go about that a whole lot better. They don't have to be the way that they are just because of these strong beliefs they have. There still could be common ground that could be met, or it could be handled in a lot more mature, proper way. You know,
Kevin came back on
at the same time. It was like they were in a race.
Exactly.
I had to go close my POF account.
I was actually just checking my POF messages.
Yeah, to see
sending a happy birthday.
He was sending his
to Sherry or whatever her name is.
Brandy.
Oh, Brandy. Sorry.
And the reason why I know her name is because we went on a date somewheres and someone goes, "Oh, is this Brandy?" And I was like, "Who the hell is Brandy?"
And you're still with him.
Listen, Kevin has been doing the most to me since the day I met him. And my two friends that pushed me on going on this dating site, I blame them completely. And my friend Shani calls Kevin a POS all the time. She's like, "Kevin, why are you such a piece of shit? Why are you such a piece of garbage?"
Yeah, for Christmas, she actually got
you wow. He knit you an awesome scarf.
Well, he's always doing things, and everyone's always like, like when I say it's like Kevin. I mean, we all say his name like Kevin.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that? Everyone that knows Kevin really well is like, Kevin.
Yeah, none of them say, "Hey, what's up, Kevin?" They're like, "Kevin, what's up?" You know, and I'm like,
Doing the most always. He's always done the absolute most to me. And I don't know why I put up with it.
Yes, you look like you're in hell, Jess.
Yeah.
Listen, I work my ass off. I'm the one who works here. I go to work. I spend like 10, 12-hour shifts. I work nights. I do all this stuff. I take care of the kids. I make the lunches. I make dinners. I do all this stuff. He sits in his offices and smokes cigars and does videos.
Yes,
I will tell you one thing.
Good.
Yes,
life is good for him.
Yes, Kerr. That's all. That's all Kerr and I do.
That's all
you guys think this is easy?
Maybe Kevin has like a fans only page and he's making all this money for you.
Yeah. I would love to be able to not work.
I do have an OnlyFans, but it's all of Jessica. She doesn't know yet.
Hey, you know what? There's a series on TV about OnlyFans, and I'm like, Jen, I gotta watch this because there's a few people that I've seen in the industry that started these OnlyFans pages. First thing is, I make about $10,000 a month. And I look at Jen, I'm like, what are you waiting for? I've been doing this cigar shit for the longest time.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Time to pony up, honey.
It baffled me to see.
Trust me, if there's an
Netflix.
OnlyFans site that takes fat, hairy guys and I can make 10 grand a month,
like,
I don't understand what that is.
Well, this documentary, Kerry will explain it. This documentary, to see what these people were doing and how much they're getting paid per subscription and what they're making per month is insane. I'm really shocked you don't have like a beard.
OnlyFans is kind of OnlyFans is like a pornographic Instagram. Right?
Oh, okay. Because I have a friend who
or fetish.
I have a friend who
feet ones.
Yeah, that's what the feet. I was going to say the feet. My friend, his ex-wife does the feet, and men pay to look at her feet.
You could do. I mean, it's
look at her feet.
It actually.
She makes like I think it's for each person that watches. She charges them like $250, $300 a peek at her feet.
OnlyFans,
it's like a ridiculous amount of money she makes.
OnlyFans started off as a place, I think, for like prostitutes, right? Where they can get on there and you can connect with people. And then it just exploded. And they were talking about how many people are like members. So you can be on there. You can charge from like $5 to $25 a month subscription. And they had,
I don't know.
They had these people. And this girl's like, I started, and then I have, they show like 400,000 subscribers or something crazy like that. And they're like, during the pandemic, I really shot up, and there's some folks that are making like hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then they start off doing some nude photos or maybe some masturbation or something like that. And then next thing you know, a couple may do a couple porns with their boyfriend and shit. But at the end of the day, it's absurd.
Okay,
the amount of money.
So do you do anything other than sexual stuff?
No, you could do feet.
You can do whatever you want. There was one they interviewed one guy
Kevin's
who
like-
said
Kevin
the comedian uses it so he can swear more and curse more on his platform.
What's
and there was
happening?
like some
I
guy
was
who
gonna
just
say
shows
for-
his mustache.
Yeah, for 100,000, I would
Yeah.
totally show my butthole for $100,000.
Kevin, there's people that would want to
Kevin.
see it too.
It's insane.
Listen,
And
there are
Jessie,
beard groupies. I'm okay with
these
you,
people
like,
are
Bro.
not the best looking
beard.
people.
I'm telling you something. I want a
crazy.
10% finder's fee for
Yes,
this.
we could be the manager.
But you could be. They said that some celebrities start going on, which really blew it up. But the guy who's on the Chappelle show goes on. He does a show, so he can be very vulgar, and that's how he does it. He gets subscription. You may have people who have a fetish on feet, toes,
Yes, the feet
freaking
is
bungholes,
apparently- I know
fat asses, whatever the case may be.
one girl just twerks. That's
Yeah,
it.
one girl, she started
horrific
off.
looking.
She started off just twerking.
Could they pay me to watch me eat? I like to
Yes.
eat.
There's a guy.
Yes,
there's a
they
guy.
Watch
There's a
me eat
guy
some
whose
food.
body is far better than mine and Kevin's, and what he does is he just
Implied nudes.
implied nudes. So he'll be eating like freaking in front of a refrigerator and have like a glass of milk in front of his junk. I mean, he's
okay.
ripped,
Yeah, who cares though?
but
or
the
they'll
dude,
kind of just show.
does he
like,
move the glass of milk?
No,
Jessie.
never shows himself.
Jesse, you may not care, but there's probably about 300,000 people who pay $20 a month who do.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if he moves
But, like,
the glass of milk.
They're making like
Make it worth my while.
$20
Move
a
the
month
glass of milk.
subscription.
Yeah, Jessica's like, I'm gonna need a link. I don't
No,
understand.
listen,
Send me a link to the milk guy.
Watch the-
And,
I need to know. I need
Watch
to
the
know-
documentary on Prime. It was
I need
Amazon
to
Prime.
know if the
on
milk guy moves the milk.
He doesn't.
No, he
But you
doesn't.
see,
Then I wouldn't pay for that. I want to see it all. If I'm gonna
yeah, but
pay
there's a
for it,
couple
I'm
hundred
taking it
thousand
all.
Magic
people.
Mike.
Well, whatever. Then I'm not interested.
Yeah.
I
But
gotta see it all.
there's a couple people that I'm friends with on Instagram that I've found that started with cigars, and they'll start off with kind of like some risque pictures, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, check me out my OnlyFans account, and I'm like, all right, so now you're sitting on broomsticks. I mean,
so
but
cringy.
but you know what though, you figure some of these folks half nude, and they're getting like thousands of likes. And you're sitting there going, if I have 1,000 likes, I get a percentage of those people that would pay $20 to
They
not
get
only
80%.
see. Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is that OnlyFans takes only 20%. The people who actually are on there get 80% of the
Wow.
money.
That's actually a
So
lot.
if you got someone who's like, yeah, look, I got
But
1,000
then
pictures.
You gotta be okay with that in your soul. Like that's out to the world.
There's nothing about soul here.
Yeah, they don't really give a shit about that.
I think
care
there's a
about
couple
my
people that
soul.
had some things shoved up to their soul, but
Yeah.
That's okay,
Yeah.
but I care about my
I'll
soul.
I'll show it
and-
all and my soul.
Yeah, you're
You know,
you're
so,
good.
yeah.
You're good
Yeah.
there. I
Yeah.
cannot do that.
Yeah.
There is no way. I do not care. I'm not. I don't care. I couldn't do it.
Jess, just start a
I-
foot thing. Just do
I
a foot
hate
thing.
feet. I
You don't-
hate feet.
But there's
I
thousands
Oh
of
my
people
God,
that
so do
do.
I
Thing.
will not get pedicure.
Oh,
Refuse.
God.
Hate feet.
I don't mind
Worst
getting a
thing
pedicure,
ever.
but I don't want people touching, looking
No.
at my feet.
Yeah, she's fine with the pedicure. Just don't touch her feet.
No,
while you're
no,
doing
I
it.
won't
No,
let them.
no,
Yeah.
Nothing.
But I'm saying,
I
like
hate
you,
feet.
like I don't want you touching my feet.
Yeah, I
You don't
don't-
want
Jess.
feet either. You don't
Jess, you don't
I
like people looking at your feet, but if you got $10,000 a month for someone to look at your feet online, would you do it?
No,
Just my
$10,000 a
feet,
month?
though?
no,
For your feet. I'm not
No.
saying your booty, or I'm
Yeah.
saying your feet.
no, because they're disgusting. I
Yeah.
hate
Yeah, my feet are
$10,000 a
gross.
month?
My
You
feet
getting
are
paid.
gross.
I thought you put your big toe in my butthole for $10,000.
No, you would not. You are so full
Kevin, Kevin, I'd let you put your finger, your toe in my butthole for 10 grand a month.
God.
You are so full of shit.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna try that tonight.
10 grand, 10 grand,
You want
right
10
there.
grand?
Look,
Okay, I got
10 grand.
You want 10 grand. You better let me do it tonight. Then we'll see how that. Well, stay tuned for episode 2.
Episode 2.
I was blown away by it because I've seen it, and I've seen people on Instagram talk about it and advertise it. And I'm like, oh, wow, this person made a transition from Instagram to fans
I only know
only.
it from
OnlyFans.
90 Day Fiance. Larissa has an OnlyFans page, and a couple of the other
These shows that I have to
ridiculous
watch, that and
people.
I don't
freaking
watch
Cabin
them,
Cruise and all the
sorry.
other shit you make me watch.
Below
You know
Deck.
what though? I mean, kudos to whoever wants to do this. Fine. I don't really care about that. I mean, maybe I could show my toes, but honestly, like I don't.
See, she's already compromising, Kev.
You got it, Kev. She's
The
in.
money's
That
already
10
gone.
grand's sinking the fuck in right now.
Next thing we know, it's a calf and then a
No,
kneecap, and then we're moving
I
on
am
up like the
so-
Jeffersons.
I am so
Like the chick who twerked. The chick who twerked. She twerked. She twerked and got a bunch of followers. Now she's doing porn.
okay.
Boom.
Listen,
She gets about 150,000 a year.
I'm a procrastinator and I'm lazy, and also I don't have time with work. So I would say, okay, I would do it. I would do it one time, and then I'd probably never do it again.
Oh, Kevin
barely.
would
You don't
make
have
sure
time with
that
work?
You'd be fine.
Jess.
I work. I listen. I work.
It's a
so
picture of your
freaking
foot.
He'll be filming you coming
It's
out of the
only a
shower.
picture.
That'll be
That's
your
it.
new.
It's not even a film.
Yeah, but that'll be your new job.
I guarantee you.
Listen, if I start
just taking pictures
my
of your
and I make
feet.
$10,000 a week, I am never going back to work. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just saying.
It's like you're
Are
busy.
you guys gonna
How-
subscribe?
how
to my
busy are you to-
all-new
how-
Facebook?
how busy-
We'll be your first 2 subscriptions.
Take a picture.
Feet.
Hey, listen, here's my feet with baby oil. Here's my feet smashing a banana.
And I thought,
Whatever the case may be.
I thought
I
one
had to do weird
you
shit
gotta
with
do
my
weird-
feet.
Yeah, you gotta do weird stuff with your feet.
I
Did I
thought
do
one
weird shit with your
subscription you could access anyone on that site, but it's actually per person you're looking at. So if there's multiple people you want to see, you have to pay.
You gotta pay
for
their
each-
subscription.
Like
Okay.
I thought it was like a monthly.
Yeah, she thought like it was a monthly subscription. I'm like, no, if I want to see Kevin's butthole, it's $20. If I want to see your feet, it's $20. That's $40 a month I'm
Wow.
paying for buttholes and feet.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
You know what? God bless that there are weird people out there that have these fetishes.
That's the internet.
the
These
only
different
way
groups,
that they're
man,
getting-
I swear to God, they were all hidden underground. Now you could find a site and watch
People
people having
hanging
sex with
from
plushies.
piercings.
Listen, when I was younger, my oldest son's dad, like before obviously we had our son, Graham, we would like go clubbing and we would, recreational use of fun stuff. And, old men or couples used to approach us all the time and be like, hey, you like want to join us? Or old men would want to spank him in tighty whities for like money and stuff. And it was always like, and that's like
Kevin.
before like internet and shit.
Wow.
Like,
That was earlier, Jessica. Things that we didn't know about you. We've moved past that. So yeah, so yeah.
But don't rub Kevin's beard.
Yeah. So, Kerr, if you could put that back at the
I was
floor.
like 18.
We'll edit that to the
Old,
front.
18, 19 years old, and he's, obviously we were doing things in life that we probably shouldn't have been doing and that were influencing some of our decisions.
Yeah, Jess, you gotta listen. We front load the hook. Hearing spanking and tidy whities up front, definitely way better than at the back end of it.
Yeah, not 2 hours and 10 minutes later.
I'm just saying.
I mean, they were always offering us like weird amounts of money to do weird shit.
All right,
Where
we'll
were
get
you
to
living?
Yeah.
New York,
Yeah.
in the city, in Manhattan.
Well, that
Well,
would
we'll
explain
we'll
it.
get to that.
Yeah,
We'll
it
get
was
to that
pretty
on
wild.
episode 2, and we probably should wrap up episode 1.
I'd say so.
We're ending it on OnlyFans.
Everybody's going to start searching for the
Kevin
whole
on OnlyFans.
I know. I don't
Kevin Shahan, OnlyFans.
Yeah.
he's stroking
Wow,
his
this is an
beard.
interesting first episode, huh?
Yeah, it was. We really wanted to learn people about us. Have people learn about us.
Why do you always say things backwards?
I don't know. We,
That's his inner Yoda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am sweating.
Yeah,
I bet after that whole thing.
I know.
I'm sweating because now I feel very exposed.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in a good way.
I guarantee you this will be cut out and will be the video that is posted.
Exactly.
Oh, so this has been
Oh man.
season 1, episode 1.
It is season
It is.
1, episode
Yeah.
1.
Yes. Where we go from here, we don't even know. We don't even know.
But you know what? To learn about the people who are doing the podcast, 2 hours is not that bad. I mean, if you really want to hang in and learn,
there's more to come.
There's more to come. We probably go for another 2 hours, and Lord knows what the hell we're talking about then. But it's been definitely enlightening and fun.
Oh, I have a question. What did you get Jen for Valentine's Day?
Had to bring that up, didn't you?
I did. Yourself? Aww.
What a coincidence! That's what I got Jessica. I got Jessica Kerr.
No.
Jessica Kerr.
He said no. He said
no. See, I've been bad lately. I'm bad. So Jennifer, for Christmas, birthday, and I also think you threw in Valentine's, wanted to go to Tennessee, and we did that. I'm
not a big Valentine's person.
Not a big Valentine's person.
I don't want gifts, but he did get me flowers.
We were at the mall yesterday with my sister who was looking for some stuff, and I was going to go into Pandora to get some charms for a bracelet, but the line was like 50,000 people.
It was ridiculous.
So I was like, I'm going to get you flowers. So we were at the grocery store, got her some flowers, and then I'll eventually get her the Pandora charms.
Oh, that's nice.
But, every day's Valentine's Day with me.
Yeah, I've never been a real big Valentine's.
Oh, you say yes, but when's the last time you got me flowers or anything just cuz?
When's the last time you got me flowers just cuz?
Why would I get you flowers?
Why would she get you flowers, Kevin? It's a girl.
That's not how that works.
I'm amazing. I'm sweet. I'm kind.
I do
generous.
a lot of stuff for you.
I do a lot of stuff for me, too.
Well,
that's great.
Kevin has been laxing in the "Hey, I care about you" department. So of course, today I got him chocolate covered strawberries and got him cake and all stuff. I made dinner. Nothing.
I always say it's better to have and freaking not expect. But you know what, though, Jess? Look at all the fun and how you've been getting more involved with the shows.
No, I would not call
I just bought you all.
Have you seen my outtakes?
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yes.
No, but I mean, Kevin used to do all these romantic things, and it doesn't have to be on Valentine's Day. I personally, I don't really care about Valentine's Day, but it just
sounds like it.
But it's the fact that he used to do all these other things, and that has just been something he doesn't do anymore. So it's just
Why buy the cow
I bet you
he has some. Free?
I bet you he has some surprises coming for you.
But you know what?
Guess what? You owe me now. You have to pay
now.
me $10,000 just to see my boobs.
No, your feet. Don't give up the boobs right away.
She's already moved up.
You already moved into the boobs? See, it didn't take that long.
See?
Yeah, but
I'm not going to show you my feet for $10,000. What the hell are you talking about? I'm going to show you my boobs.
It took 10 minutes. It took 10 minutes.
Not even. Not even. We got to end the show now because Lord knows what the hell's going to be offered next.
He talked about getting it for free, and I was like, well, now you owe me $10,000. You can see those on my OnlyFans page. Because that's the only way you're going to see them from now on if you think you're getting it for free.
I will say this in all seriousness, because I know I've been lacking too. And I know you guys bust balls, but doing multiple shows and doing all that shit and prepping and all that stuff, that takes a lot of time. And sometimes, for myself, I get so wrapped up in it, and I do have to take a time out, take a step back, and show the person you're with you appreciate him, because the way I look at what I'm doing as being appreciative of you is trying to continue to build, and make a better life for us.
I tell her that all the time.
Yeah, but
it's not an excuse. It's not an excuse.
No, it's at the risk of.
We do like the little things, though. I love flowers. I really.
I love the little things. I don't even get the little things.
You're supposed to agree with me on all that.
Yeah, I try and give you the little thing all the time. Not appreciative of it.
I try. I try. But it's it's not an excuse. It's just an acknowledgement that we need to do better.
Yes.
Or try harder. Not do better, but try harder.
Try harder.
Try harder.
Tell Kevin.
No, I'm speaking with him because I feel the same way.
I mean, I get what both of you guys do. I do. I 100% get it. But there comes a time where you guys expect us to always get it. but then we're just kind of left to not getting anything else in return. You know, it's like, oh, I got this, I'm going on this show, I'm doing this, like blah, 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 blah. And you spend more time with everyone else. And then when it comes down to
But the
us,
return is the wonderful life that is provided.
Jess is feeling a
wonderful
little
life
left
if
out.
we're doing it alone. If we're completely doing this 100% alone, what life? I might as well be by myself then, right?
No.
But now we have our show together.
Yes.
There we go. Now
It's
we
just,
can spend
this was part of Kevin and my surprise.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, good cover.
This is-
Good cover.
Happy
It really-
Valentine's
it
Day,
happened-
Jess.
It's like
Yeah, you still don't
this
get
was
each
part of
other.
our surprise. How do we spend time with each other more often? We do a show together, and that's how we show our love. And we talk about these things. We work them out, so we now appreciate each other more. So you guys don't understand Kevin and mine's our mentality when we do things. Sometimes it's so subtle that you just don't get it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so subtle. Sometimes
Yeah.
Kerr and I don't get it.
I feel like Jen.
It's so subtle. I make it up at the moment.
I feel like they don't bless Jen at that moment. It's okay. You're forgiven.
All right. So on that note, we are forgiven. We should probably wrap this up.
Yes. So from Kerr,
Jen?
Kevin,
Jessie?
remember one thing. Bullies make good friends.
We talk. You listen. We are the Broadleaf Bullies.